Oh, shit, we're live. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Graybeard Podcast. I am the guy with the gray beard. Tonight, fuck all that. Connor's here tonight, guys. Everybody say hi to Connor. He's been on before. You guys know Connor. We know him. We love him. He's from the Who Are You podcast. If you have not checked that podcast out, you need to go do it right now. Well, wait till we're done, and then you can go do it. But go check out, get on your podcast, whatever provider you use, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, whatever. He's on all of them. The Who Are You podcast. He's also on YouTube, Who Are You podcast. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all of his social medias are Who Are You podcast. Or is it just Who Are You pod?
Who Are You pod.
Okay. So again, say hello to Connor again. Do it again, Pat. Say hello to fucking Connor.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? I'm happy to be back.
That low, smoky voice.
Hey, man, I just always had this deep voice, but like I said, thank you guys for having me back. I was super excited to hear when I had the opportunity.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, let's stop all that bullshit.
No, but it's awesome to be back, guys. You guys have had all kinds of amazing guests, been popping in and out of the podcast on YouTube and everything.
Yeah, you're our number one fan on the lives. We appreciate that.
We got to show support, man. I see other people in there like Tyshawn from Stay Young.
Yep.
I also see who else? Time and Place. Shout out Brett. I see a good mix of people coming in and out.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier today. Is like, I almost talked to you about it inside because we're podcasters, and we will talk about all the good shit before we hit roll. But like you said, we could probably talk about whatever forever. But I was thinking about it today. I was like, damn, I survived for a little while on Connor's runoff. Well, it was just like I would listen to your podcast, that your guests would sound interesting, and I was like, I felt like I was like, your podcast, the way you ask questions, and mine are different. They're both great. Well, I can't pat myself on the back.
They are great. Both are great.
But yeah, they're both fucking fantastic. So, I always just think, like I have other questions like,
yeah,
from your questions. I'm like, well, I want to ask them this, and of course I never write them down. So I don't, whenever they get in here, I forget all that shit. Do you write down your questions and stuff?
Yeah, so you'll see me with a notepad on my lap. It depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
If it's stuff I can kind of like, say for example, our last interview, our current one was with that UFC fighter.
Okay.
With that guy, I wanted to make sure I asked specific questions, learn his life a little bit, and learn how, someone gets into mixed martial arts. So I did have like notepad. I had some notes on like what his accomplishments are and everything because certain people, they've been asked the same question 10,000 times. So I try to have that one a little bit more structured. But now, like with me and you, since we know each other and like we've talked on here and everything, it would be more just free-form conversation.
Right.
So it really depends.
So you didn't bring your list of questions tonight?
No, I did not. But I was just talking. I was just talking to Patty here a second ago about some different stuff I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
But when it comes to you guys having people who have been on my podcast, I love that.
No, it's great.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
I mean, it's been kind of going back and forth.
Oh,
100%.
So,
no, I love that, and I've actually. It's so funny because you do pop in the live, which I fucking totally appreciate, and don't stop. But if you don't show up, I will miss you. But we know shit happens.
Oh yeah.
People have lives. I get it. Not everybody has the time to sit down and listen or watch a live show for however, an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it goes. Sometimes 3. Depending on who's talking.
But the thing is with me is I consume podcasting all day. I love some of the bigger ones like Rogan and like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, all of them. But whenever I have a chance, and also it's easy to support you guys, just watch it, comment, and interact. That's what everybody should be doing here whenever we are doing podcasting.
Yeah.
Not everybody is good at it. I've had guests in the past who we do an hour-long interview, they've rescheduled a couple times, and then they don't repost anything. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
good
day,
on you for not calling them out too.
No, I'm not that kind of guy.
I will though.
but I mean,
no, I won't.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. At least you still get the interview. And at the end of the day, if it's an easiest way of me just commenting and checking on you guys and enjoy the content as well, like I personally do enjoy it. Me and my wife will sit there at dinner while we're eating. We'll just sit there and watch what you guys, who y'all are talking to, and have a good time.
So cute. You guys are adorable. Hey, before we get too far, I told you I had some shit that I brought for you.
I'm interested.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but if y'all don't know Connor, okay, Connor has this thing about water.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
So he just fucked up his palate, but we're gonna see.
Oh, I'm hyped about this.
So I brought a couple things, just a couple. I mean, I didn't go crazy.
Is that fucking Dasani?
Well, let's
That's
not say.
Dasani.
That's Dasani.
I brought 3 different waters here. We're gonna turn this around so nobody can see the labels. But I brought 3 different waters. I'm gonna have him taste all of them and tell me that there ain't no fucking difference in these waters.
I'm sorry, but Dasani is ass.
I should have done was put them in clear glasses
Ah.
and then labeled them. So I like a blind taste test. But yeah, we can do that whenever.
I love that. Whenever you want to bring it up, I'm down.
You go for it, man.
Oh, you want me to go for it
Yeah,
now?
try it now.
Stay hydrated, my
Oh,
friend.
you got your whatever.
I got my my Lin,
Your-
Teach-all.
your Lenny, your lint.
my Zinni, my upper decky, as it's called.
Thought that was when you shit in the top of the toilet.
That is one.
Is that what that is?
An upper decker.
So what do you want me to start
It
with?
don't matter, man.
Okay.
But those are all 3 yours, by the way. You can take those with you.
We're not sharing?
Maybe later. Maybe I'll let you spit some in my mouth later.
That's a that Graybeard Podcast After Dark episode.
Yeah, that's on the Patreon.
Give us a review, Mr. Salesman.
I don't think I've ever had this water before.
No, what does it taste like?
Water.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that, fucker. Give it a good chug, chickadee chug. Let it hit the back of your throat. Well,
Should I like
Hey-o.
spin it around like
yeah,
wine?
sniff it, get the notes.
I did learn something interesting about water, by the way.
What?
Did you know the colors of the caps mean something?
Usually it's rotation, right?
No. So the color of the caps for specific water bottles is if they're alkaline or this. I forgot what all it is. It's
Well,
like
this is naturally alkaline.
I just
spring
I just
water.
read that, and it's from the hose somewhere out in
That's
someone's
that's
backyard.
these two.
No, the Dasani's from a fucking swimming pool.
They just scooped it out of my
Dude, I
toilet.
grew up drinking this.
What?
Taste the same?
I mean, it's nothing's really like. It's not like it's sour or anything like
It
that.
doesn't have anything different. Doesn't taste.
Not to me. And also, I did have a Zin in my mouth, and I've been drinking
That's
a beer.
Beer, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
But
The control.
Try that one now. if that one doesn't taste different, then he just got no taste buds.
I can cook really well.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Even the Bud Light tastes like water. Hey, he's drinking a lot of that pure ass.
He's gonna be peeing a lot.
I got the beer bottle for that. And this
Nothing?
that's the thing, dude. Like people, I've had my buddies will give me like shit. Shout out to Cam and everybody. They will be like, dude, I know you're doing this as a bit for the podcast, and I'm really not. Like
Yeah.
for me, the same person you see on that camera and behind the microphone is me in real life.
Yeah, I know.
I am a little more goofy, like behind the scenes, but like I really am just like that's.
No, I'm the same way, dude. Like most of the time when you see me though, I'm fucking dead tired.
I understand that.
Like I was like, shit. I come home today and I was like, all right. There was shit. I had dishes and clean up and stuff because you're gonna have guests. I always clean up. It's some kind of weird OCD thing I have.
I love your house.
But thank you. By the time I got done with everything, you were like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck. I was gonna take a nap. Shit.
Oh, sorry, man.
Oh, no, you're good.
You were like, pull up early if you can. I was like,
Yeah.
I will.
I was hoping you would pull up early, and that he would be here early, and we could roll early, and then we could just go.
I mean,
you know?
it's not that late right now.
No.
We're-
But time does fly.
It does.
You know how it goes.
It does. It does.
Like I don't know how. Do you like set an alarm or something, or like how do you know when you're like close to an hour?
The Roadcaster.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Whenever I'm recording, and also if like the conversation's starting to get slow, and I really run
All right,
out-
I'm out.
Yeah, it's just easier to do it that way. And if like say if we're talking to a business owner, and
Is that why my podcast was so short?
it was an hour.
It was like a 30-minute podcast.
Oh, you're so full of shit. It was an hour, and I got some deep dark secrets out of you.
You
on
did
that
get some deep throat secrets.
I did. Yeah,
Hey-o.
that was after the pod.
Wow.
I did want to bring that up here as well. As I love how you guys describe me in the podcast as getting into y'all's deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up because I do get deep with people.
Well-
But we have some funny times as well.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like the way you interview people.
Thank you.
I think it's great. And I like the fact that you are like you're I don't want to say you're learning, but I mean I think we all learn with every time we do this. But like it's almost like I have, and we talked about this earlier too, but like I've noticed a progression. I did not kill that fly. It's still here. Fucking
good.
bitch. And you're gonna land on my coffee? No.
The one spot that it doesn't need to.
Yeah, and but no, I've noticed like an evolution, in your podcasting, and I always think it's funny when I hear a podcast and they're like, I've said this a million times, but who cares?
Yeah.
Because if it's a loyal listener, there's a lot of stories that you tell that I can hear over and over, because I identify with them, some of them, and some of them are sad, like. Every time you tell that story about the little girl with the rat,
Oh yeah, that was a rough
and
one.
the toes, like,
Yeah.
I think did you tell that on?
I did tell.
Yeah.
I think this was the first interview. You guys gave me my first ever interview outside of my podcast, and yeah, I did. That's funny.
If you didn't,
I did tell that story.
Feel free to tell it again. I mean, but it's powerful because people don't realize, and that's something that I like. Always think about is the fact that how easy, and I've mentioned this before too, but we have it so fucking easy. Everybody wants to complain and bitch about everything and anything, pronouns, this, that. Like, listen, there are people right here in the city we live in that are living in dire straits.
Don't have a fucking pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Right.
100%.
Well, so if you're just joining us and you've not heard this story, I'm gonna have him tell the story. It's really, and then we'll get into some funny shit, or we'll just be silly. But but if this doesn't put shit into perspective for you, that your life is not that fucking hard, work sucks. Who cares? You got to make money. Times are tough. The economy sucks. But who cares? You wake up every fucking day, and hopefully you don't have it near as bad as this girl he's about to talk about. So go ahead, man. Tell your story.
No, you're good, man. So this is definitely a good perspective thing to think about, because there are a lot of people in this world who don't have shit, and it's not even their fault. A lot of times they're children, and it's definitely a tough thing. But like, for what I do for a job is pest control, and I went to a home. This house was really, really old. It was over in a not so nice part of town, and I knock on the door, and I was aware of what the job was. It was a rodent job. They said the house was infested with rats, and that can mean so much stuff, because a lot of times the rental companies, and they're like, oh, there was 2 rats there, it's infested, blah blah blah. Anyways, I knock on the lady's door. She opens the door, and like 4 or 5 rats run away as she opens the door. Yeah, like, and
I remember this one.
Yeah, everything I'm telling you is 100% true. I wouldn't lie about this stuff. This was the worst thing I've ever seen. So I go into the home. I'm walking around, and whenever I go into a home to do either pest control or like a rodent job or anything like that, I always do an inspection. So I was looking around the home. I'm walking down the hallway, and I see, like the old houses where they have the electrical outlets like down on the baseboard. There was one of those like sticking out of the wall, so I used my foot to push it back into the wall. And all you see is like a freaking rat hand, like paw, whatever you want to call it, just push it out. I was like, whoa. I was like, after seeing obviously like rats running away, seeing that happen, I was like, holy crap. And then like, I don't think I told this part of the story last time I was here, but where they made a nest was actually in their couch. And it was like all in there and stuff. So this was a place that nothing could be fixed. There was no amount of stuff I could put out to fix anything that was wrong with that house. You would literally need to burn it. Yeah. So the description was correct. So that's not even the saddest part. A young girl walks up to me. I go between the ages of like 4 to 6, somewhere around there. And she talks about her toes getting bit on by the rats at night, kind of thing. Shows me her toes. You can see bite marks, and like it was taken down a lot. So that was, like I said, every time I tell this story, I've told it a lot now, so it's still sad, but like brings a tear to your eye, man. Like, this is a young girl who, she can't choose who her parents are. And I'm not even blaming the parents, to be 100% honest with you. It's just some people have what they have, and that's all they can do right there at that moment. So that happened. The child ended up getting taken away.
Right.
And from my notes, actually, I put it in. It was for a company. They saw the notes. They were like, they called me like, "Are you serious with what you just wrote in here?" I was like, "Yes." And then DCPS called and all that. And like, I'm not proud about a girl being taken away, but
hopefully
she's in a better situation.
Exactly. And that's not like what I was trying to do in any way, shape, or form.
No.
It was just, they called me and I had to tell the truth.
You have to be honest.
Yeah. So that happened. And yeah, man, it's just, that's the main part of when I talk to people and like try to get into their little bit of their story. Like, for example, like Brett Collins had a hard time coming up. and it was really interesting to hear the conversation about doing drugs, making it through that, being that guy on the street that had nothing to do. And then he pulled himself out of that, moved over here, and has like created a better life for himself. And like, shout out to Brett, man. He's doing so much good stuff, collaborating and helping.
Balling.
Yeah, man. It's not even the balling part. He's supporting local Jacksonville, local artists, and that's what you do, and that's what I do. And like, that's my favorite thing, is seeing the collaboration and people maybe making it from their worst spot and make it to like a better position, or say they're going to the gym, incremental steps to get to a better spot. Like, I see people who are on my podcast, and they were like in between, and then seeing someone go all in on what they were doing and seeing the growth from there. That's like my favorite thing. We might not even like still be talking on social media, but seeing their growth makes me personally happy.
Yeah. Do you think that like their conversation with you kind of puts some kind of, I don't know, some kind of fire under them, where they were like kind of half in, half out, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got this cool shit, but I don't know if I'm going to try and take it all the way or whatever. But after sitting down and talking with you, and they're like, they have like a moment of realization, and then that's when you see them like really pop off.
I wouldn't give myself that credit.
Give yourself the credit.
To be honest, I hope with like my hope with doing the podcast is giving people a platform to promote themselves and show themselves to
100%.
people who may not know about them. That's my whole goal with this. And it's also a handshake deal with us. Their audience sees us and helps us grow as well. But if I am a part of that helps them put a fire into their butt and then go harder and get to the position that they want, I'm more than happy that's a thing. I wouldn't give myself that credit, but I hope it does help them get to where they want to be.
Always humble. No, I love that, dude. And yes, like we were talking about earlier, and you kind of mentioned it, but like sometimes, you might have a guest and they're not like super collaborative or whatever, and you're not real sure why they reached out to come on the show or whatever. Like, what was that? What point was there in this us having this conversation? A lot of people don't realize how much we put into this and how much love and care we put into this. Now, me, not so much. I'm pretty much from the hip, but as far as like technically and stuff like that, I do. It's not easy to book guests out for a month, and it's not easy to sit here and keep a conversation rolling, keep it popping, keep it, because, like we do it live. And so there's an added element of pressure, like if it sucks, which we've had some weird episodes.
They're not all going to be perfect, man.
No.
Yeah.
When you're doing live shit, there's going to be things that happen. It's usually when Russell's on from So Scenic. Generally, he brings gremlins with him. But we love him. That's my homeboy.
What's a gremlin? What do you mean by a
gremlin?
No. I know what the gremlins are.
Something goes wrong.
Okay, that was meaning what in fact you were meaning
so
by
gremlins are not just what from the movie. The gremlins.
Yes, I know a gremlin is there.
Traditionally, in the European, I don't know where the fuck it comes from, the lore, but the gremlins are like these little mythical, invisible, tiny little creatures that get into electrical devices and make them go haywire.
So that's why my camera doesn't work sometimes.
Probably.
Heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking gremlins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying that on the podcast.
You should.
No, man.
I love seeing elements of this podcast on yours, and then if I might steal some stuff from yours, I again, back to your point, collaboration is key.
100%.
And I think it's a great thing. And what I was getting to earlier, I sound like Joe Biden. Shit. Leg hair.
Good luck with that. You couldn't even emulate that.
No, but
you got to turn around and shake the air before you're like that. There you go.
We're in the place where we are, and the economy, China. Shit, I just said a C word. Now we're gonna get blackballed again.
I heard about that. That was an interesting one.
And we'll get into that too. But the point I was trying to make, if I can remember, was that it's kind of like getting a bad comment on YouTube or wherever, a negative comment. I look at people that don't collaborate. I'm like, fuck it. It's in the past. Move it on.
100%.
We could get upset about it. We could get, like try and get like, what do you call it? Not comeuppance, but like retribution, I guess. But what's the fucking point of that? I fucking hate being catty. I don't like it, even though I'm a Capricorn and we tend to be catty a little. But yeah, I love when we all come together and we create this little community. I I know you've talked about creating a community with podcasters. I know we both belong to a Facebook group called Jacksonville Podcasters Unite, or Jack's Podcasters Unite. I've been to a couple of their meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I've met Botter. I've met a bunch of other podcasters out there, and they're all great. He probably don't remember. I wanted to have Botter on the show. I'm just working up the courage because he's a fucking big time dude.
I interviewed him.
I know you did.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it.
Oh, appreciate you.
No, dude, I literally listened to all your fucking podcasts.
Oh, thanks, man.
I don't watch all the YouTube ones.
you're
'cause
fine.
Even
I
though they're
understand.
new, I do go in and try to hit the like button.
I
but,
appreciate you.
you know what I mean? Like, whatever I can do. Like, today, I was on a fucking roll today, just fucking shouting people out and fucking whatever. And I don't know why. Just sometimes I get a wild hair up my ass.
There's nothing wrong with it, man. Like, that's what I try to communicate every time is, like, whenever I hear someone's like, you guys recommended me, like, oh, Graybeard recommended you to
Yeah.
me. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And I've recommended you to other people.
Yeah.
Like, Troubleshooting Reality.
Ah,
You guys talked back and forth yet?
a little bit.
I recommended
Our
that.
schedules, it's going to be difficult.
It is. They do a little bit of a later interview. Like, I interviewed them at like 8:30 at night kind
and
of
I
thing.
think they go on Wednesday nights.
Yes, I think you're right.
So they're doing theirs right now. What's up, Troubleshoot in reality?
Yeah, I say they're great people, man. And that was an interesting challenge to interview 3 people at once.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, that's the thing where, that's where you take hold and you control the conversation.
Sure.
And that's what I was doing.
No. I don't
just
want to
try-
control the conversation.
I understand.
I want to just go, hey, I'm Jim. This is Graybeard Podcast. Troubleshoot in reality.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
got into so many
just let 'em go.
different comments and like back and forth. I
Yeah.
also had some segments prepared as well, like top 3
Sure,
stuff
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah, I
that.
remember that.
Top 3 waters, they're all the same.
I was really hoping that we would break through something tonight. But
I
oh well.
really,
He's
you know
drinking
what's
his fourth water right now.
Yeah, right.
Bud Light.
You know what's so funny though is like you guys have brought this up. Troubleshooting Reality brought it up.
I
and
didn't think that anybody actually brought.
No one brought me water in
Multiple,
any
yeah.
way, shape, or form. That was awesome. Like
So
when you pulled those out, I started smiling.
First.
No, but like
I'm
what
going
you
to
got-
keep it going, too. I almost got a sparkling water just for fuck's sake.
Well, that'd be so.
Obviously, that would be different.
That's the thing that a lot of people talk to me about is they're like, oh, like water has a flavor and blah blah, blah. And they're talking about like my friends will be like, oh, you telling me that creek over there doesn't taste different? I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Yes, it tastes different. I'm more talking about just the bottled water is like, it's all branding and stuff, you know?
It is. It is. I mean, it all comes either from the same aquifer or whatever. I mean, garden hose, Dasani.
That's why I think it's coming out of.
I do get like childhood memories coming back when I drink Dasani.
Yeah.
Literally, like I'm drinking out of the
Water,
hose.
sulfur, chlorine, something taste.
Well, the water you were drinking back then, did it come in like the milk, like the glass bottles and everything?
Yeah. A little milkman would come rolling around. Here's your water, sir.
Oh no, I was excited to come here today, man. Obviously, I'm in a good mood. Last time I was telling you, I felt the podcast was a little more serious. So I
Yeah,
wanted to come.
well, it was more interviewee style.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I wanted my listeners to get to know you, and of course Shannon, which she's not here with us tonight. Sad
She
face.
may be in the live. She might be
Oh,
watching and
okay.
checking
Well,
it
hi
out.
Shannon. If you're in the live, we miss you. Wish you could have been here.
It happens.
yeah,
Work
you're-
gets in the way.
Literally the better half. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. I'm just lucky, man. It's just crazy. We were talking about it's not too long. October is a year for me and her, which is kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
It's time just
goes
flies on
fast.
by.
Yeah.
You were asking me if I'm talking about kids and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
and
I'm
that's-
gonna ask you every time I see you.
Oh, it's gonna happen one of these years, man. There'll just be one podcast. You see me sitting there with the picture that you
Yeah.
get the sonogram pictures. And
I'm
I'm
gonna start posting the GIF of Marissa Tomei from my cousin Vinny, where she's on the front porch going, "My biological clock is ticking like this." I'm gonna start posting that GIF in every one of your posts.
I'm excited to be a dad, man. That's something that
Yeah.
I've always thought would be such a cool thing.
It is.
That's like the last thing you can really leave on earth is another person.
Yeah.
And keep that kind of story going. And we were talking about this a little on the last episode, like what a podcast is for me is I feel like it could be, even if it doesn't turn into like the full on business that I
Right.
wanted to and, make money off of it. What I think would be cool is like this could be an audio diary for
Mm-hmm.
your kids. Like they can, like, at least for mine, it would be interesting to hear what your dad was like at like 21 years
Right.
old, or I was like 22, 23 when I started this.
Yeah.
And going through like, getting married. We literally did a whole series of me and Shannon on our Sunday
I love
hangouts
that.
talking about the wedding, like what parts were getting figured out, blah, blah, blah. And did that, and now they've continued to see us grow. It's really cool to see.
I do love that, and I think it's great that you're doing that, and with that in mind, like I grew up without my father,
Mhm.
and he was a photographer. Thank God he took gaggles of pictures of himself, and he did a lot of self-portraiture and stuff like that. And that's pretty much all I have. We'll get into therapy and shit too. I have that, but when I was going through my therapy sessions, which have been many throughout my life,
nothing wrong with that, man.
No, absolutely not. It's almost like it was like going to school for me. I was just so used to it. You know, my mom actually worked for the LeVays. I don't know if they're still alive. I hope they are. Well, I think her husband died.
Oh.
But they were pretty old.
Gotcha.
But one was a psychologist and one was a psychiatrist, and they had their own business together. And she worked. My mom was a fucking secretary for him. So
okay.
I was in there like all the time.
Yeah.
My mom was so worried about me, but and as a child and shit too. But that was like one of my things that my homework, that they give you. It was with this most recent one, and it was like, go find out all you can, and I just went to my mom and said, hey, this ain't about you. This is about me. Don't get upset. Don't get in your feels. But I'm going to ask you some questions that are hard questions, and I need you to answer them. Because being the baby of the family, I felt like they always, my mom, and my two sisters always kind of shielded me from a lot of the bullshit, and and there's a lot of things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I started asking some hard questions, and she was pretty fucking blunt with me and honest. And here's a fun fact I found out, and I think I might have talked about this on one of the, I don't remember, but apparently, see, my dad died when I was like 2, and when I was about 3.5, somewhere in there, 4. My mom came in my room, and in our closet, it was just a steel rod, and for some reason, I had taken my belt and flung it over the fucking rod, and the other end was wrapped around my neck, and I was pulling on it. And she came in, and she was like, what are you doing, Jimmy? And I was like, I'm going to go see Dad. At 4 years old, like, how the fuck do you get that? How do you get that? So, I've always felt like something was around me. I probably had some demons. I don't think it was my dad. Don't think he would be like saying, yeah, come on with me, son. Put that belt around your neck. It's a little creepy.
No, man.
Creepy to think about.
I can definitely understand that. Life is weird.
Did I tell that on your podcast?
No, you didn't tell me that part.
I've never heard of that.
You did tell me about your dad passing away, though, but we did not bring up that. To bring a similar story in that, I think Shannon told on this podcast about her dad dying right in front of her.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, so she's had issues with that in the past, and as she's grown up, she's very, like, if there's anything I can say about Shannon, she's one of the strongest people.
She's pretty solid.
Oh, dude, she stands strong in a lot of things that would probably make me crumble, and it's crazy to see.
Yeah.
But
well, they say women have a higher threshold for pain, whether it's physical or emotional.
Well, she's been through a lot, man. Like, anytime I talk about her, like, I always say that she's like the toughest woman I know, other than like mom. Oh, dude, 100%. Like, after her dad died, her mom remarried. The guy was abusive, would make her like run up and down stairs with bricks in her backpack.
What the fuck?
All kinds of shit, like piece of shit, dude. Would beat him with a freaking paddle. Like, it was terrible, man. So
I could identify with that.
Yeah,
my mom beat the shit out of me with all kinds of things.
That was a different time, though. This wasn't like not being funny like 30 years ago. This is when she was a kid, man. And she just went through a lot. So ever since hearing that story, and like whenever I first started dating her, I always knew something was there. Like I would ask about her dad, and she wouldn't tell me. And then once we got a little more serious, I was like, all right, I'm like, what's up? Tell me. But you brought up the therapy side of things, and I think therapy is great, to be honest with you. I've gone to therapy myself.
Don't roll into your, we're not sponsored like you. So
I'm not
roll into your shit.
I wouldn't do that. But just therapy in general, it's something I've believed in since I was, actually, I would say more as I got older, 20s, teenager years. It's good to talk it out, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't mean it's going to fix it, but at least you're putting your energy out there and you're trying to think through it, at least, put it out there where someone else hears you rather than getting to the point where you were talking about like putting a belt around your neck. There's a lot more to life that I feel like people are a little short-sighted on. Like, just think about it. You wouldn't be a dad. You wouldn't have your podcast, and things can get better a lot quicker than you think they will.
Oh, yeah. The way I grew up without a father, like, really kind of shaped who I would be as a father. I didn't think I would. For some weird reason, I thought I was destined to follow in his footsteps. I was like, when I'm his age that he was when he died, something's going to happen. Either I'm going to do it, or something, fate, whatever. And I had that in my head and my whole life. And then when I had my kids, I was like, "No, fuck that. I'm going to be around as long as I can for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give them everything that I possibly can." And I stopped thinking about I mean, I didn't even go to the doctor for like 20 years, man. I mean, unless it was like, when I had my surgery or if something bad happened, I would go. But like a physical, no. I just worked.
Yeah.
I worked 100 hours a week, whatever it took,
Mm-hmm.
and just to make sure that those kids had everything that they needed, because honestly, what else does a dad do? I mean, I had no basis for comparison, no litmus test or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I had my granddad, which I love. I mean, I wish he was still alive, but he died when I was like 19. Both my grandparents, y'all were talking, I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I think it might have been Troubleshoot in Reality when they were on your podcast. But y'all were talking about like people, old couples that have been together for so long, and when like they like die together. Well, like my grandparents died, if not a couple weeks, it was a month apart.
Yeah. I feel like, death by broken heart's a real thing, man.
It really is.
Like if something happened to Shannon, dude, I wouldn't know what to fucking do with myself.
Right.
To be honest, I would be destroyed. That's
Yeah.
100% true thing. Or like even like when you lose family members, man, that stuff hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just life's hard. That's the main thing I say. Like, you're talking about suicidal feelings and all that. Like I'm very
Yeah, I know you've gone through that.
100%, man. It's just I look at it now, and like we were talking about perspective earlier in this conversation, and I have to still stop myself to this day and just take a second to think about, like, I had a shitty day at work or something didn't go my way, the podcast isn't like blowing up like I wanted to. And then you take a second to look around and be like, I'm clothed, I'm fed, I have a family that loves me, I have a wife that loves and supports me. There's really not much else you can ask for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
You have everything you need.
Yeah, man. Like, things are paid for. I'm not dying. It's just, life could be a lot harder for me, and that's like the main thing is just
Could have rats chewing on your toes.
yeah, man. Life's hard, but at the end of the day, it's just keep pushing. You never know what
Yeah.
can turn around your life. It takes 1 second or one choice, and you can be in a whole new place that you never thought could be possible.
100%, man. Yeah, I mean, that whole perspective thing, like the story that you told, and just thinking about, people bash on the U.S. or whatever because of our current leadership, past leadership, whatever the fuck it is.
You don't see them moving anywhere.
No. But when it's funny because when Trump came into power or whatever, became our president back then, I had a lot of friends, people that I respected, and loved. I mean, they were like, I'm moving to Mexico or I'm leaving the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but why? Yeah, he's not the greatest. He's not my first choice. I mean, the last few that we've had have not been my first choice. But you just, hey, you take the lumps, dude. You know what I mean? We're going to go through some rough times. It is what it is. I mean, we're going through damn near depression right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the strongest. I've been through a recession, back when I was younger. I was so young I didn't realize and didn't know what a recession was.
Yep.
And we're in one right now that's fucking tittering on a fucking depression.
Well, you guys got to think, we're making literal history every year. So this is new every single time. So things are going to mess up. And when it comes to the politics side of things, man, they're all crooks. That's the way I look at it. And
Bottom line.
Yeah, man, it's just, you see what's going on. It's a game, a lot of it, and this isn't even me trying to be hateful. It's just
it's the truth.
It's the truth, and like, how many people really trust watching the news anymore? Because if you watch CNN or Fox, it's just two different perspectives that are trying to push two different things.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, it's
man.
like taking two kids that were fighting, and you take one in a room and say, all right, let me get your side, and then you go over there and take the other one. So maybe the truth is somewhere in between CNN and Fox. I don't fucking know, but
yeah, but after hours, they're going out and having dinner with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude, and just there's all kinds of stuff. But from what I've learned,
there's definitely an agenda there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you really go walk around outside and go shake hands with people, you're gonna find that you have a lot more in common than what you have different. I don't care if you're red, blue. These are all it's just party lines and stuff.
Talking points.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, it depends on the situation, depends on what we're talking about is where I would lean. I don't really need to put myself in a tribal situation where I'm like, I'm blue no matter who, or, I vote red because, fuck blue, whatever it is. It's really not like that. It's just give me the better candidates. And I also believe that our candidates shouldn't be what 80, 70 years old. These guys grew up before this is also gonna sound really bad, before really
Cell
phones.
phones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Internet, yeah.
And these guys are making things that are gonna happen in my future.
Right.
They're gonna be
and
gone.
in our children's future.
Yeah, they're gonna be gone. I'm still gonna be here dealing with the mess that they leave.
Right.
It's a racket in my opinion.
It really is. But I don't know, like with the whole the nasty C word,
Yeah.
when that shit was around, and something we didn't talk about with that, Pat, is like there was like I think it was just like, what kind of feelings did it give you? Did you have what weird shit came up during that time? I don't know. But there was so much going on at that time. I don't know if you were made to shelter in place or whatever, if you had to like be locked down. Yeah. Or
Maybe for like the week or two.
Were you essential?
So originally, I was working at a restaurant at that time, and I came into work one day. My general manager looked at me and said, "We're closing up. I don't know when we're coming back."
That's
I was like,
crazy.
so literally, I was working at a pizza place at the time, and they let us take like all the pizza dough, all the
'cause it's just
pepperoni,
gonna go bad.
all the cheese. So these are like 20-pound bags of cheese. I'm sure there's still people to this day that I know probably have that cheese or something in their freezer.
They haven't shit in 2 years.
Oh, 100%. So that happened, and then I was working at a e-cigarette store for a little bit all day vape, and I was working there for a little bit. Met my boss, and apparently pest control is essential, surprisingly, but it's also Florida. We didn't have it nearly like
the pests don't give a shit about the big C.
Yeah, say if you're in New York, you weren't leaving your house.
Yeah,
you were stuck there. So that's a weird thing, but. It was a weird time, man, and obviously it's still controversial and all this BS. It's always something.
It is.
I think it helped expose a lot of vulnerabilities within society, and I think it helped put in perspective to people of who's really fucking them, and that the people that make decisions, in quotes, for us don't have
shined a light on it.
Don't have our best intentions.
No, it definitely shined a light on the fact that who is making the decisions, who's really making the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And when all the fucking stimulus shit came out, and you look at the bill, and you see all this pork in there, all those what is this expense for? Why is this in the stimulus bill?
Yeah.
Everybody was just using it as an opportunity to get fucking paid.
Yeah, they call it an omnibus.
Well, I mean, what do you look at now? Like, there's trillions of dollars going to other places that aren't going here, man.
No, I know. I try not to look at that shit because it just depresses the shit out of me.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, while we still have free speech, that's the main thing you can do is talk about it, kind of thing. Obviously, you don't have to be violent in any way, shape, or form about it. Like what you guys see going across these schools right now, these riots, and I'm not choosing a side on that stuff. I don't think war is good in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter who's killing who. We're still all humans at the end of the day, and we shouldn't be blowing each other up and killing each other, whether it's religion or a different point of view, no matter what the conversation is.
Yeah.
It's not my thing personally.
We do it right here in the U.S. We don't need, we do it to ourselves.
What's very refreshing, though, is it seems like in the last 5 years, since the C word happened, that we're having more of these conversations, these intimate conversations about ideologies and the differences, and we're able to get along with each other. Maybe offline we are, but online everything's exacerbated. It's all given a spotlight because, like Jennifer Janeo says, I'm only going to let you see what I want you to see, i.e. the media. They're only going to let you see what they want to cause strife and panic between two people. So. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy.
I have a good story for you guys about that line. So about a month or two ago, I was at work and I went and took care of a house, sprayed the inside of it and everything. And when I walked up, I found an AirPod outside, gave it back to him. I was like, "Here you go." But the family was from Jordan, and they're very traditional, I guess is the term to say, and they have their traditions. So I wanted to make sure I respected that as I was walking around. Sometimes the wives have their job and the man has their job, so I was being respectful, trying to, if I'm allowed. Ooh,
sorry,
no, you're good.
Fly.
Like
we got gnats and flies in this bitch.
You guys are fine. Like not trying to over talk to the wife because I don't know if that's found as disrespectful or whatever it was. And, just wanted to make sure I'm following. And I got done treating the house. Very nice family. They were talking to me the whole time as I was going through the room, not like telling me what to do. They were just asking me about my life. And I get done with it, and the wife is like, "Would you join us for a cup of tea?" And at first, I was like, the part of my brain was like, "No. What if they put something in there? Just general stuff." And then I thought about it. I'm like, I think that's just me being being weird. So
Skeptical, yeah.
so I was like, fuck it. So I sat down with them. Great people. They were talking. The father, the whole family was there. The son was a little older, probably around my age.
Yeah.
And he talked to me about moving from Jordan, going to the UK, like college in the UK, then going to UC Berkeley in California, becoming like an architect or something of the sort. And he was asking me like my views on what I've seen from what the U.S. shows us about other countries.
Right.
And I was asking him the same thing, and it was a very respectful conversation. It was a very interesting conversation. Have amazing tea. I don't know what kind of tea it was. It was delicious. And I got to learn about a different culture just from sitting down and having a 20-minute conversation.
That's super cool. I love that story too. I know you've told that on your podcast, and that's one of those ones I love it. It's
Puts things in perspective.
It really does. And, like we were talking about earlier before we started, people have like preconceived notions of other people.
Exactly.
And it's all based on surface, what you look like, where you're from or whatever. And we don't know where they're from. You just see something because, again, the news kind of puts this into your living room or wherever, and you go, oh, okay, well, maybe those are bad people. No, they're not all bad people.
Beautiful people.
And then I started thinking about like, what do they think about us?
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet they kind of lock their doors when we walk by in the car. I would. It's like I'm sure everybody has this weird thought or probably think that we're all fucking bunch of assholes, but we're not all assholes. Some of us are like Connor. I'm an asshole. So like,
there's plenty of people
50-50, right?
There's plenty of people who think I'm an asshole, trust me. But no, it's just at the end of the day, like I say this on the podcast all the time, man. Like I don't care what color your skin is, you're gay, straight, all that stuff, or whatever you believe in, or religious beliefs or anything like that. I just want to learn your story.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And obviously that's what you do as well, is like I sit down with every kind of person.
Oh, yeah. All walks of life.
Yeah. And like just because me and you may have a disagreement, whether it's about a certain topic or whatever it is, it's okay to disagree. We're all human. We're all going to have our opinions just like we have assholes, and we just go from there.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. And I love it.
And that's all you can do.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm centered.
No, you're good. It's no problem at all.
But yeah, no, I do. I hate it when people say that.
What?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no problem.
So
I said no problem.
No, me. I said yeah, no. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I've heard. It's a lot of girls do that on their podcasts. Yeah, no. Well, see. And I just fucking did it. So
you're good.
No, I'm beating myself up.
Self-flogging, or was it?
Yeah, flogging.
Flogging. That's what it is, not flogging.
I'm beating myself over
Wow.
the head with a wet noodle.
Can I tell you the story about the Roadcaster I was telling you about?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to tell you this. So
let me set it up for those that you don't know, and you're not podcasters, and you don't know the Rode brand. Rode is a brand of microphones. They sell it's all audio, mostly. It's all audio.
Pretty much, yeah.
They got these headphones. I've got other Rode mics and things, but they sell a lot of Rode, a lot of microphone and audio gear. And what he's about to talk about is it's this little mixer device. It's like a recorder, mixer, all in one. And they're really fucking awesome, and they're perfect for podcasting. And I've said this before, is that skip all the other shit, go right to the Rode, save yourself money. I know it's a lot of nut. It's a big nut in the beginning, but you're going to spend that much money or more trying to go through them and find the right thing to record your podcast. So at any rate, carry on, sir.
And the thing is, I love Rode. I use their Rode microphones. I have the Rode.
Not sponsored, by the way.
No, I know. Even though we are basically talking like we are.
Yeah.
Rode, reach out to us. So the Rodecaster, so I love everything about it. It does everything for me. There's one crucial design flaw. So how on the back there you put your SD card in there, your micro SD? Well, on the original ones, there's a slot on top of the slot where you're supposed to push it in, and it fell in.
Oh, shit.
And guess what? There's no door on the back of it, nothing that you can do to get it out.
I've taken mine apart.
That's what I did. There was like 40 screws on that thing.
Yeah.
It took me an hour and a half to do this whole thing. And the reason why I worked so hard for it is shout out to Safe House. I did their interview and I was like, this is going to be a great interview. I was going to put the SD card to download it. And I was like, fuck, I can't believe I just did that. And Shannon comes home. I'm all pissed off, like unscrewing this thing.
Their podcast was on there. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
the whole thing was on there. So I had to get that out, and I wanted to make sure I didn't mess up the board because, as you said, those are not the cheapest thing. When I got it was like $600.
$600.
They're like $400 or $500 now,
yeah.
the original ones.
Yeah.
But no, besides that, Rode, everything else is great. But that design flaw that you have on that needs to change. I don't know if you guys have that, but that needs 100% change.
Well, the whole micro SD card thing really gets me in my craw. I don't care for it. The new one, I don't like the power button. It's like a weird, just a little nipple. It's not like
you don't like know if you touch it or not.
It's not like
the other one was very mechanical, so
Yeah.
you could feel it go click, click. But a lot of people were having problems with that, and it would like stop working. They'd have to send it back. Like with mine, and what's cool about this one, it's got the USB. It's got the USB-C.
Oh, that's nice.
For the which you had on the old one, but you only had one. This one's got two.
Oh, that's really nice.
Actually, yeah, it's got two. It's got two. Inputs and outputs that are USB-C.
That's nice. So you can connect multiple things to it.
Right.
That's nice.
So I could connect another computer and record it to that and to that computer as well. If I'm doing a virtual interview or whatever, then I can do that there. But I never fucking use it. I just use the one. But on my old one, the USB-C port, the soldering on the inside came undone. So I went to push in the USB-C and it just went right in.
Oh.
I was like, fuck! You know. And at the time, the partner I was working with, he had bought one as well. So luckily we had his as a backup.
Okay.
But I still got to send mine off and get it fixed. And Pat finally brought me the paperwork for it, and I just haven't done it yet. But they said, they said that they would, because I don't have a fucking printer, and they did, So at any rate, they said they would fix it. It's not under warranty anymore, but they're like $150, I think, is what they charge me.
That's not terrible, but still, it's $150. You're just like, but you can't do it yourself, right?
No,
Obviously,
I can't. Yeah. I mean, I can't, but I did notice because I'm in there's like a group on Facebook. There's a fucking group for everything on Facebook. But like, I'm in that group, and there's a guy somewhere that he does that for people.
Okay.
He's a like electronic whiz. So there might be someone here in Jacksonville, and if you are someone who knows how to like solder electrical things and figure out which terminals to use and all that shit, let me know, because I would rather give you $50. I mean, I'd rather pay you the $150 than having to send it off. It's just a pain in the dick.
I understand, man, because like that's how I am. Like, do I really want to go through all this or just go get the new one?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get the new one.
Well, I got so it's funny. I got a phone call today or yesterday from Sweetwater Sound. That's where I buy everything. I mean, almost everything. I didn't buy these boom arms from Sweetwater. I got them from Amazon, but like the mics, the Rodecaster, the ATEM, almost all the key components that we use, I got from Sweetwater Sound.
Nice.
I'm not sponsored by any of these fuckers, not Rode, not Sweetwater, but there's a guy, okay, and I don't know if they just, everybody out there that works there, they're like, when they call you, they're like, hey, this is Derek, because on their website, there's a guy, there's a picture of their customer service, and it's a guy named Derek. And I'm like, and every time you buy something, they give you a call within 24 hours. Hey, I saw you got this and that. It's been a while since the last time you purchased those Shure microphones. I saw that. Yeah, no, they go all out, and I love talking to them. And I did tell them, I was like, hey man, on my YouTube channel, I did a couple unboxings, and I definitely talked about Sweetwater Sound. I said it wasn't a paid promotion or anything. That I just loved you guys. And he's like, thanks, man. Give me that YouTube channel, and I'll go check it out. And I was like, dope. So I haven't heard anything back, but it would be really cool if they just kind of started sending me shit so I could do more unboxings. That would be cool. That. I've been trying to figure out how these fucking guys, other than just getting a massive following and then people just starting to send you shit, but I'm like, so like Unbox Therapy. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. It's a YouTube channel. I
don't think I've seen the show, but I'm guessing unboxing videos. I've definitely watched those a bunch. Yeah.
Well, now the dude's he's balling now.
Oh yeah.
But they have to start somewhere, right? Like, I can't afford to buy things every time, something that I want to, so, I've reached out to other companies like, hey, I know you've got this thing that's about to drop, and I really love to do an unboxing or just even do a review of it or a preview. Sorry, and I don't want to do a paid review.
I understand.
Because when people pay you to do the review, it's almost like they want you to be biased towards it, And so I would do a preview, or if they wanted to send it to me, I would do a review on my own, and that would be in a contract that we, would draw up like, hey, I'm not beholden to you. If this thing sucks, or if there's elements that suck, I'm gonna say it. But
yeah, because you can also make just ad revenue once you keep growing and everything. And like I'm sure you guys have seen on YouTube, it's feasible to get those like paid ads and everything.
Yeah.
It just takes time to build it up.
On my YouTube, and you'll notice it too after a little while being on YouTube. I've clicked on some of my videos before, and they pop an ad in there, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not getting paid on this.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing.
Then again, I'm fine with it, because to be able to go live on a platform and to have all my content stored and out there for people to be able to view for free, I don't pay anything.
Yeah.
Fuck it, put some ads on there, go for it. Now don't fucking shadow ban me when I say the big C word. Or we have a fucking hour-long conversation about that shit.
Motherfuckers.
That's a whole thing, man. Like there's just certain things like.
What's crazy is like, it's obviously not a person going in there and doing it. It's an algorithm. It's an AI
100%.
There
algorithm.
are people though. There is a department.
Like a review side of things. Like there's big names I've gotten taken off YouTube. Like
Sure.
do you guys know who Steve Will Do It is? You guys ever heard of them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Steve Will Do It. There's this group called the Nelk Boys. They're big YouTubers, do all kinds of stuff. And he had a couple strikes against him. He ended up getting kicked off YouTube forever. This man had multiple millions of followers.
Bro, they interviewed Trump.
Yeah.
And it got taken off.
Yeah.
Like within 24 hours.
Wow.
There's all kinds of stuff, man. So I don't try to test the YouTube gods,
I
just
a little bit. I just kind of poke them.
It depends on who we're talking to,
Just like to make sure they're still there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing anything bad.
Just poke the bear a little bit, just a little tap.
Like the worst thing I would do is like maybe when I would upload a video, like something that I would just record, whether it be teaching someone about the Rodecaster. Like there was one of my videos is just like it's a slow burn, so it's over years. It's like up to like 4,000 or 5,000 views.
Oh damn!
It's just one fucking video, and it was how to, you're getting in the Adobe realm with Premiere Pro, but like they also they have an audio program called Adobe Audition. So with the Rodecaster, I was like trying to I tried for so long when I first got the old one, like how do I hook this up to my Adobe Audition so where I can record directly into Audition.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So when I figured it out and I learned how to do it, I made a video about how to do it. And that shit blew up. People went nuts over that fucking video. I was like, whoa, this is my biggest video. That's what they want.
How-tos are amazing, dude. I look up stuff all the time, especially like I was telling you with my struggles. Like my first YouTube video, it's gray. The color is just off. Trying to learn settings of cameras and learning Adobe and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. No, just like
how-tos.
Yeah, how-tos are just great because I look that stuff up all the time.
YouTube University.
Oh, 100%. Like whenever I interviewed Amp from Random Acts of Podcast,
right.
He sent me a YouTube University of just all Premiere stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn how to make the starting scene, where like the logo spins. I don't know if you watch it, it's fine if you haven't.
Right, yeah.
The logo spins and then comes up, who are you pod? That took me 3 hours. And it is the simplest like thing to do on there.
Yeah.
The start screen. I'm going to pay someone to do it for me sooner or later, or at least
Did you use like After Effects or something?
No, I made it in Adobe Premiere Pro.
You had used one of their plugins to do that?
No, so I literally did my own thing. So like at the time, what is it called? I'm trying to think of the terminology.
Keyframes?
Yeah, the keyframes. I did everything through
cool.
keyframes. I just like superimposed my logo. I made a square and then typed out who are you, and then the who are you comes out through the logo spins.
Nice.
It was nice, but it was a pain in my ass. I was sitting there. I had to restart 3 times. It was just rough.
Yeah, it uses a shitload of memory out of your computer. Like RAM.
I had to get one of those things, man. Yeah, because I had to get like a whole terabyte because I used up after doing 3 videos, 100% just filled up my computer.
Yeah, definitely invest in one of these.
How much is that?
This is a 3 terabyte.
Oh damn, that's nice.
These guys, these are Western Digital. They're 20 terabytes.
Whoa.
One's a 10 and one's a 20.
How much is it? If you don't mind me asking, how much is a 20 terabyte thing?
And I'm not sure if it's true.
Too fucking much.
But
I was about to say that's expensive.
But these are HD drives.
Okay.
They're just like these. I mean, they're just external hard drives. They're kind of slow.
Yeah, they're not solid.
The
states.
the read write is a little slower.
Okay.
If you got a 20 terabyte solid state drive, that's going to cost you at least a G.
That's what I was thinking because like
those cost me probably about $250, $300.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I was like, just for a terabyte, because that's the main thing I've been going through is just getting enough storage for everything. Because I don't delete my episodes after I put them out. I always keep them stored just in case like a new say something. Excuse me. Say YouTube goes away. I know. How dare I? Say like YouTube goes away and all your stuff's on there. You have to have some kind of backup, or even in the future, you never know. Maybe a company wants to buy the rights, or like
you get a big deal on Spotify.
Well, yeah, like what Rogan did.
Somebody makes it big that you've had on.
That's actually a very good point as well. So I just want to make sure I always have ownership of that, and it's just not gone, because that would be terrible, dude. Like, especially, you've done a bunch of episodes just like I have. How many episodes are you guys up to?
110,
well, yeah. Total episodes with the audio only and this, we're right around 110, something like that.
Okay, so we're in like the same realm, because I'm like 113, 114.
But with this version of the podcast, this interview style podcast, not that many.
Gotcha.
50, 60.
You think? You think we've interviewed 50 people?
I think we've done well, because we used to do Wednesday, Saturdays.
I can check now.
Yeah,
I think maybe 40 or 50.
Well, you guys are super consistent. Like, you don't miss a week or anything.
Try not to.
Yeah, you're just like us. Me and Shannon.
It's hard, man.
If people cancel and all that stuff, it's annoying, right?
Yeah, and that was the thing I was kind of trying to get to, is like let everybody understand is like the passion that we have. Like, I'm a photographer. I say that I'm a musician first because that's what I grew up doing. Photography back then was just like a little hobby thing, and then as I got older and I got divorced, and like I tried to find myself. I needed something to get in, get my brain straight, kind of thing. And photography just kind of came to me naturally because I did it when I was a kid, and it just weirdly, oddly morphed into this. I'm not sure how. I started doing videos on YouTube, and then my girlfriend and I decided to do a podcast, and it was just audio. But then I got obsessed with audio and getting good audio, and I drove her nuts.
Oh yeah.
We would literally record in the kitchen, and if the kitchen being with that hard floor, and it was just so
the reverb
sounded
and everything.
like total just ass. So I still have the fucking sound, like these things,
the pads, and everything. Yeah,
I still have that up against the kitchen wall or the dining room wall, and I and I would take a fucking photography backdrop and a giant blanket and put it on the other side.
That's cool. I like that.
So we would try and cut down on the amount of reverb and all that shit. How dare I? But it just became an obsession, and people don't realize. I get people tell me all the time, "Oh, I want to start a podcast." Cool, do it, but understand you really have to be into this.
Yep.
You really have to want to do it.
There's levels to it.
There really is levels to it. I mean, it's like if you're a fly-by-night podcaster and you just want to do a couple of episodes or whatever just for your buddies, put them up on Instagram, do that.
Oh yeah.
Use your phone. Don't buy gear. You don't need all that shit.
I think you just start out with an audio mixer thing, a couple microphones, and just see where it
cell
goes.
Cell phone, bro.
That's what I did, man. Like for the first probably like 50, 60 episodes, I didn't record any video.
Yeah.
It was just all audio, and then I started adding my phone into it, and then, adding, finally we got a camera, recently at least, we got a camera, and it just adds such a better, I don't know, I think it adds more to it. Like, I love that y'all set up how you have the 2 camera setup. You also have your screen. This is something I want to add into my podcast as well. And I just say take it by day, man. Like with each episode, I try to be 1% better, change it up a little bit, kind of show some other stuff. Like, you guys haven't been over yet, but I'm excited to show you all my set.
I got to come back and check that out.
Guys, got to come check it out. We got some nice comfy recliners now.
I've seen the set.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's looking really good, dude. I know that's a lot of fucking work. People don't, and that's another thing, and I don't, but I say this without trying to, like, I don't want people to feel the strain. I don't want them to feel the stress of all the shit that I went through. And I know that you feel the same way. Like, we don't want them to come in and have a chill time.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell people, I like when people come in here and it's like, they're like, I'm walking into your garage, and then they walk in and they're like, oh shit, this is legit.
That's my favorite thing too. When they come in, they're like, oh, I love your set. I'm like, hey, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it feels good. Like, all this work was for something.
Oh, yeah. it's just, man, like, I don't know. It's just an obsession for me. I know it is for you as well. It's just, I just love going out and doing it. And like the feeling after I get done with an interview and I know it was a good fucking interview, I'm charged. Like I'm sitting there, like I'm all giddy for the rest of the night. Me and Shannon are talking and I'm like, what?
Sleep.
Well, just that. And just, I'm excited to give the audience something else, and like not every single podcast is amazing. And that's not the biggest part. And I've had to teach myself to like, they're not all going to be bangers. But at the end of the day, if you're
everyone's
happy,
bangers.
Oh, yeah. It's just,
every one of them.
If you're happy with what you put out, that's the main thing you should focus on.
Right.
Everything else will come with time. If you want to make money in this, that's a long fucking road. And it's going to take some time. And, it's just building up a product that people want to work with. But at the end of the day, I would also not change anything in my podcast for any amount of money. I do what I do. I talk to who I want to talk to. You're not going to force me to, change my personality or change the kind of people I'm talking to. I refuse to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great thing to live by. I mean, I don't remember who the fuck was it. I think it was Ivan from That Lucky Fool clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about selling out, and it was like, even if you did sell out, who fuck cares?
It's only you and yourself, man.
Listen, I mean, if you're selling shit, and I mean, if you're getting money and you're getting paid to do what you love doing, is that really selling out? I mean, what is selling out? You know what I mean? I mean, who the fuck cares? Now, I mean, I will only ever sign a contract that's written by myself and my lawyer, and or a contract that is gone over with a fine tooth comb by a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get fucked, and that would be the money, and then of course, I have complete control. You're never going to dictate to me what my social medias look like, what my guests look like, how I talk to people. No, that's the reason that, if someone would be to sign on, that would be the entire reason for signing on. You liked the product that I had. And it's weird to talk about it as a product because it's not, man. It's like I said, I've become more of a podcaster than photographer. I don't really even promote. I mean, when's the last time you saw me upload a photo from on my photography page?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's
I guess
been a
I see
while.
mostly your stories. But, I mean, that's the thing is just like, I'm not in this for the money. Obviously,
No.
obviously it would be nice if it comes.
It would be.
That is true. But at the end of the day, it's just a cool thing. That's the main thing is like a lot of people some people are like, what is a podcast? I don't really understand what it is. And then you sit down and do one, it's really just a conversation and you can talk about really whatever you want. And I feel like it takes these conversations for people to help learn about themselves, dig a little deeper. Like I remember when we were talking, we got a little bit into your backstory and some of it was a little bit on the deeper, darker side, but that could, you never know, help one person, two people, and I enjoy it. And at the end of the day, I'm also feel like I'm providing a service to my community by promoting these people who are in Jacksonville, who are doing good things, whether it's their like clothing brand or they're running a nonprofit or like how you have on the show, a veteran. That's one of my favorite things to sit down and talk with are veterans. Yeah. Because they're different. And it's a different mindset.
He's way different. I think you got hit in the head with an empty shell.
Definitely got hit in the head.
You did.
I do remember that story.
He did. He really did get hit in the head by another head.
By another head.
So it sounded like two watermelons hitting, I'm sure.
2 wooden baseball bats.
Ugh. But no, just the veteran state of mind. Like every one that I talk to, I don't know why. It's kind of like a thing I can pick up on it that like, okay, they're in the military. Like you sat down with State Young Clothing. Who else? Bold Forever clothing brand. He was military, went to Afghanistan. Who else? We've sat down with another project, Operation to Uniform. They help guys transition from the military and go into regular life. It's just fun, man. There's so many cool kinds of people who are going around here and like great nonprofits. It's just this is a melting pot of interesting people.
Right.
And we actually had some other people interested in this. Is me letting people know, I guess, a little early. Have you ever heard of the Jort Boys or anything like that? Or have you ever heard of Happy Dad Seltzers?
I have not, but
I saw your Happy Dad.
I saw your pictures of your last guests, and so I've never heard of them, but I'm definitely going to check them out.
They're good people, man.
What do they do?
So Jort Boys, they're basically a group of guys. They
create jean shorts.
No. So they all have been bouncers at the beach bars for years. And they ended up kind of making a group and started like, doing party promotions or like throwing parties, whether it's like with like famous professional athletes or other people. And they've just grown in popularity for a while. So now like anytime at the beach bars, they throw a party, everybody kind of comes.
Yeah.
Also, they have done work with, like I was talking about Happy Dad, the gentleman Colin, shout out Colin.
Yeah.
He is the sales rep here in Northeast Florida.
Okay.
So he's in charge of, getting that sales out and everything. And they've gone to UFC events. He shook hands with Dana White. They've hung out with a bunch of UFC fighters, comedians, all that stuff. And we kind of just talked about that. But they have a crazy thing going on. That would be a crazy sponsor to have right there.
Yeah.
But just the melting pot of people, like I was saying, there's just so many kinds of people here that are doing cool things that you can never really run out of people to talk to.
No, and Jacksonville's it's vast.
Well, plus it's a military town. You got 2 big bases,
Right.
Very
Mayport
true.
and NAS Jax. So.
100%. I mean, on my last venture, we were affiliated with a group called
Warriors
for Whiskey. That's right.
Oh, nice.
I wear their shirt occasionally. But yeah, I did some free work for them. I didn't like their website pictures for their merch. I was like, dude, let me help you. So I sat in here for like 2 days straight. They gave me a box full of all their merch.
That's cool.
And it was just me, my youngest daughter helped me because they had like some girl sizes and cuts and stuff. And she helped me with that. But I was just literally in here doing photos and they never used any of them, but it's fine. And I can't fault them for it, but
yeah.
I worked really hard on that, Fortunately, I kept all their shit, and we ended up giving it away on the podcast and stuff like that. But, I do, I love the military community as well. And I think that people need to do more. And I think that like what you're saying about like just collabing, and you and I both talked about this in the past about Jacksonville, how I do give a little hate to Jacksonville, and it's only because I've just been here my whole life.
Same.
And I'm ready to, it's like being trapped in a fucking shoebox or something. I want to get the fuck out. Now, granted, there's a lot of shit to do here. There's a lot of creative people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Florida man, okay?
Yeah.
Even though that motherfucker did originate here in Jacksonville.
Florida Man. That was gonna be the original name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Was the Florida
I'm
Man
so
podcast.
glad you did not go with that.
A lot of people like the Who Are You better.
Yeah, it's way better.
It was the first draft. First draft, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As the saying goes, the first draft is always shit.
Yeah. I still don't know about the Graybeard podcast.
I like it. I think it's cool, man.
Yeah.
I like your logo and everything.
I can never shave my beard.
Do you ever want to shave your beard?
Sometimes.
Do you have a chin under there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's somewhere.
As long as you
might
have
be two.
As long as you have a good chin, that's the only thing. There's guys who shave their beard and then basically all that's left is their lips.
I mean, the last time I shaved my face, it looked really weird to me.
Yeah.
Just strange.
I can barely grow a facial hair. You
and
see what I got
someone
on
told
my
me I
face.
looked older without the beard. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll grow it back out. But
Yeah.
No, it's just weird. But you pigeonhole yourself. You do these things. I mean, I just wanted something with a logo that people would be able to remember. And it's pretty fucking hard to forget.
I think it stands out. Like mine's a pretty simple logo. It's literally a red guy with a question mark on his forehead.
Right.
Besides says, "Who are you?" And that's kind of how I left it. Like I made it myself, so at least I own the rights to it. You know, it's mine.
Same.
That's like the main thing about it. But at the end of the day, you can always change it to something different. There's nothing holding you back, but at least like they know who you are with that, and you can keep the logo and other stuff like merch and.
Or
everything.
I'll just start another podcast. I mean, my thing is this: like, it's kind of why I started the podcast with Jen. It's like I love her to death. She's my bestie. She's a sweet girl, sweet young lady, and she's very talented. She's smart, and I love doing the podcast with her. But I was like, you know what? Why not have another one? And I've got a buddy of mine that I work with. He's like an anime nerd.
Okay.
Like I thought I was an anime nerd, but he takes it to a whole other level. And I was like, let's do an anime podcast.
That'd be cool.
Because that's all he and I, when we're at work, that's all we fucking talk about.
Gotcha.
He spoils a lot of shit for me. And I ask a bunch of questions about shit.
You're like, what the fuck?
No, I do it on purpose. I do it to myself. I don't mind spoilers like when I'm watching movies, but I just think like, why stop with one? Yeah, it's a lot of work, but you might find something that like really catches fire.
It's a niche as well.
So it is definitely a niche.
There's a lane that you could go down 100%.
For sure. Like I don't like talked about Botter with the Short Box. I've been listening to their podcast. I've fallen off. I need to catch up. But I mean, I listen to their podcast a shitload. When I first joined the little Facebook group, and I met him, I was like, dude, I'm gonna listen to your podcast. So I went and started listening to it, and it's really good.
There's another one that's really good. It's called the Wait For It podcast.
Yes.
the blue and yellow and
Yes.
everything. They do a
I
great
think I
job
followed
as
them
well.
too. But I was just like, if I ever did bring him in here, if he ever, because he's a busy man.
Mm-hmm.
But if he ever did come around to hang out on with the only thing I could talk to him about is anime.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
I know very little about comic books.
I don't know much about that stuff in general. Like I know the basic stories of like, the major superheroes.
Yeah,
and
we could
everything.
talk about the Marvel and DC.
Yeah, like
movies.
that's more, I would say, my speed. I did want to bring something up to you. So I've been playing around with this in my mind. I've been thinking about reaching out to other podcasters.
Sure.
So I've been seeing like around Christmas time, like people will kind of do like either fundraising or something like that. I was thinking about doing like a toy drive this year for the pod. So like all of us we can like all do like something together or like just kind of like promote it on each of our all podcasts and like maybe get like toys for like some of the hospitals this year and give it out for Christmas,
that'd
just
be
go and
great.
do donations. And
I mean, there
everything.
is Toys for Tots.
Yeah, there's a couple other things, but you can also, even just as a single person, you can make your own donations is what I was thinking. Because a lot of times, like, people will put up, like, say, like, the donation links. A lot of people do it for their birthdays, right? On Facebook. How often do you see too many people really throw anything in there? So, but with at least the toy thing is there's a lot of other companies or a lot of other places, like say for like the example I was telling you about Safe House. I feel like they'd be something that someone would be interested in that because they're good with working with the community and wanting to give back for the community. I've just been thinking about doing some more kind of like live stuff. I think that would be an interesting side of things as well to kind of develop. But as I get more details on it and maybe I'm going to reach out to some hospitals here in a couple months and kind of see what's going on. But that was just something I wanted to talk to y'all about.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to run and use the bathroom real quick. Is that cool?
No.
No?
No, you hold it, motherfucker.
You made me drink all this water.
I know I did.
All the same flavor water.
And the beer. It had
And the
nothing
beer.
to do with it at all.
I'll let you and Patrick
what
go
you're
back
talking
and
about.
forth for a second.
Bud Light is water.
Yeah, really. No. Connor's going to go take a piss. We're just going to talk shit about you while you're gone.
He's got such a small fucking bladder.
Oh, my God. It's so tiny like a girl.
No, definitely cool. Yeah, I'll be down for that toy drive.
For sure.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Get back to the community. I mean, you never know when you're going to find a kid whose toes are not off from rats, and they just need a little toy to get through the year.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
a
that's
tough story, man.
fucking
That's tough to
crazy.
hear.
Yeah.
That's tough to hear.
I can't believe people live like that here.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we just, privileged, I guess. I
get
mean,
wrapped up in our
I don't,
day and-
I guess I'm privileged to have a job, and some people don't even have that.
Yeah.
But that was part of my point. Is just like, Jesus, there's so many people bitching about shit all over the place, and it's just like, bro, how hard do you really have it?
Yeah.
Like, how hard do you really have it?
And do you have it hard enough to where you can't give back a little bit to
Right.
somebody? Yeah. I know it's a lot to ask for these days and because people have their own struggles, but
Well, I definitely don't like, and I think I kind of hipped Gabby to this. Every time she goes to Starbucks, I said, "You just gave him a tip, didn't you?" And she's like, well, and I'm like, stop giving them a fucking tip, or First of all, sorry baristas everywhere, Starbucks baristas. If you're an actual barista at a fucking, the guy at the fucking window didn't do shit.
True.
You made me coffee.
true.
Now, I mean, if I go in and you like made me a fucking full blown espresso cappuccino type of thing where you got to use all the thing and tamp it down, and that's skill. And then you do the little funky design with the milk. That's
Make a
skill.
little
I'll
leap.
tip you. But no, it's about like I hipped her to the thing about like you go to Walmart. It's like, would you like to round up to pay for the Children's Miracle Network or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So if you don't know, these businesses that ask for donations at the register, they have already donated money. Okay.
Yep.
And when they ask you at the register to donate to this thing, it's not for that thing. They're just getting their money back.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, they're going to get the taxes, the tax breaks from donating the money, and you're going to pay them back. So it's like, yeah, why wouldn't they do it? Because there's gullible people out there that will actually fucking do that shit. And I'm not one of them.
It's also just the plight of man and greed.
Yeah, I would rather donate directly to the source.
Yeah.
I feel so much better. I don't think you understand. I was losing my train of thought.
Eyes
Were
are
you?
turning yellow.
I thought you were
My eyeballs were floating a little bit.
a little bit. Yeah, your back teeth are floating.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back now. What were you guys talking about?
I was just filling time. We were talking about your tiny bladder, and
And about the toy drive, who knows? if
I was
some-
just talking about like the donation thing at like Walmart when you go to the register and it says, "Would you like to donate?" And I said, if you don't know, they've already, like Walmart or whoever, has already donated their money.
Oh, 100%.
And when you put your money in, it just goes back in their pocket.
Yeah.
So, and basically, they end up not coming out of pocket for anything, but then they get to reap the tax benefits on the backside.
And
so
they're more than likely making more money off of the
100%.
round up to your dollar.
A million %.
Yeah.
But I would much prefer to just go directly to the source and
Yeah.
donate that money to them instead.
That's kind of what I've been thinking. I was just trying to think of something else to get more into the charity side of things. Like I think I've told you in the past, I work with the Southside Businessmen's Club.
Yes.
I'm a part of them, and they did something last year I really enjoyed that me and Shannon got to be a part of. It was
like a gala or something?
no, it wasn't a gala. So what we did was, or what they did throughout the whole year, basically what they do is throw different events. So like one's like a clay shooting and it's a charity thing. One's a golf outing or whatever it is, and like you can sponsor a golf hole or like one of the things like food.
Yeah.
And they basically save up money every year, and then what they do is, depending on how much money they can, they will invite around 50 kids who live in the homeless shelter here in Jacksonville.
Oh, wow.
And basically, me and Shannon got to work with one child, and we took them throughout the store, and they got to spend $150 on whatever they want.
Cool.
So tax-free as well. So Target was super cool. Shout out Target. Got to go walk out through the store. They were buying stuff for themselves. They're getting stuff for their parents, all this other stuff. It was really, really cool. And like, I don't know, I just enjoy going out and doing that stuff. This isn't made to make me look good or whatever it is.
Oh, you're an angel.
No, I'm not in any way, shape, or form.
He's a fucking angel.
No,
Don't you fucking believe what he's saying.
100% not. But it's just giving back. I just really do enjoy that feeling. It's just going out there and, you know,
it makes you feel good.
well, you make a kid's day, their year, you know what I mean? It's something that they get to go do. They will have that toy for a while. You know, there's like we were talking about earlier, like the perspective side of things is just kids don't have shit, man. Especially when you see these kids coming in and they like barely have clothes or whatever it is. It's just, you know, it's just a wild thing.
And then like 2 blocks over, all those kids have everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy how Jacksonville is like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you'll have like not so hot neighborhood, and then like 2 neighborhoods over or whatever, 2 blocks over, it's like the rich fucking neighborhood.
It's super, super weird.
It is weird.
I have to say, it's rough.
Well,
but
I know, especially like downtown, like they're trying to gentrify downtown. Like, I don't know how I feel about gentrification.
I don't think it's great because they're pushing out people who are already low income. You know, like obviously there needs to be progress in certain things, but that also comes down to what our community leaders need to do, like our mayor.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Patrick before the podcast started. Like we're about to spend $2 billion on a brand new Jag stadium.
Right.
And guess what? It's going 50-50. So 50 the city, include us.
That's great.
And 50% the team.
Well, you know, they did just put in the toll roads everywhere.
Oh,
so.
yeah, of course. It's crazy to see, like, they're willing to put that money, which I'm a Jags fan, 100%. Like, a new stadium is great and all that. But, you know, we still have a bunch of homeless people sleeping. Like, you go downtown, you know, there's guys sleeping on the freaking sidewalk for a mile. That's like our version of Skid Row, like California has.
Yeah.
And, you know, with what I've done for a job, I've gone into homeless shelters and, like, I see where the money's really going. It's not going to these people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
if I was a gazillionaire...
I'm going to drink this just to spite you.
No, go for it. If I had lots and lots of money that was disposable income and I could do this, I would take that money and gentrify the neighborhoods, but then let the people that live there now move back in.
Well, it's just the whole
like, here, you get a brand new home, like fucking Oprah handing out cars.
The whole world's just expensive now, man. Like, you know, me and Shannon want a house so freaking bad, and it's not like we do bad when it like comes to finances. It's just, you know, we don't make $300,000 a year, or you know, $250,000.
You're gonna have to find a place like this.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you have a nice house, and you've also put good work into it and everything, and that's perfectly fine. But man, you go to some of these shitholes, and they're like, yeah, this is $350,000.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not paying $350,000.
It's like 7 square feet. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the bathroom is actually outside. It's in the corner of the fence, and they're like, yeah, it's a 3-2.
I can't even fit my nutsack in here.
No, man, it's just like these prices are crazy. And also like a 7-8% interest rate.
Yeah,
fuck that.
I
dude.
won't talk about my.
I think the median for a married couple right now to afford the average home in America is like $160,000. So
yeah, it's freaking
maybe more.
But there is nice things like such as like first time home buyers. You know, that program still exists, thankfully.
for now.
So yes, exactly. That's why we're gonna hop on that sooner or later. We're just kind of seeing because obviously election.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, but the thing is, also you don't hear your neighbors talking through your wall.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there, and there's been times when I've been in this house when shit breaks. You can't call maintenance.
That's a good point.
You have
a very good point.
I had to go into my AC broke a while back. I had to go in my 401k and pull out money just so I could pay the guy to put in a whole new AC unit.
My parents just went through the same exact thing, and they said it was like $15,000. And I was like,
they must have a giant house.
No. It's a
Mine was, I think it was like $6,500.
they have it's only a 3-bedroom house. You know, I say only, excuse me. You know, obviously it's
2-story.
no single story. It's just the whole thing went out, and they also had to insulate and also reroute some of the
Duct,
things,
yeah,
like
ducting.
reducted and
Yeah,
everything.
they didn't do any of that.
Yeah, but it was just that's a whole thing. But no, I agree with you 100%. But also, you have the freedom. Say like you just redid your bathroom, right? I can't redo my bathroom.
No.
I can't repaint my house. But also, I know that all costs money and everything. But I would like just to have my own space. And also, every single year the rent goes up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and maybe have a little bit more stability with that side. Kind of get into a locked like a rate
Yeah.
as much as possible. And then I'm not looking for a new place every 2 years, 3 years, or anything like that.
I definitely remember my last apartment. Like the first one that I was in wasn't bad. It was more like a townhome than an
Okay.
apartment. It was 2-story.
Oh, that's nice.
It was like they took 4 apartments and took them and went top and bottom, one apartment.
Gotcha.
One apartment.
I see
So
what you're saying.
I only had one neighbor. She was to the left of me. But yeah, the other ones were flats, and they were more like ding, ding, ding. And, you know, there was a lot of space in there. But yeah, I'd be sitting on my couch watching TV, and I'd hear chew,
Yeah.
and I'd say, "God bless you," and that was my neighbor.
Did you guys have
through
a
the
yard
wall.
or anything?
Fuck no.
That's the thing I want because I like actually being outside. I'm always kind of outside doing something.
We did have a gym, a nice brand
That's
new
nice.
gym, and a huge pool.
Okay.
So that was good.
There's a deal. And like where we live now is great. I actually love our apartment. It's just also I pay $1,500 a month
Yeah.
for a 1-bedroom apartment. And like it's a decent size. It's a great place to live. I enjoy where I live, but I'm also not gaining equity in it. You know, I'm
Paying
not
somebody else's bill.
Yeah, like someone else's bill is getting paid off my dime that I'm working to death on, and
Yeah.
I would prefer to be paying down a loan than rather than just paying someone else's loan off, kind of thing. But it's in the future, man. I'm looking forward to it. There's gonna be a time, you know, just like you guys bought your stuff. You know, there's always a time, ebbs and flows, especially with the election year and all
Fuck
that.
yeah, man.
Everybody's trying to act like the world's ending with this election. I'm like, I'm sure.
Are they? I'm not even paying attention.
Oh
to it.
God, it's
I'm
a
just looking forward to cheap interest rates. That's what I'm looking
anytime
for.
I'm on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's just a bloodbath on there, dude. I'm sitting
Yeah.
there, I'm like, oh my God, like people are fighting over the smallest things. It's the craziest stuff.
Let me ask you, Elon. What the fuck do we call it when we make a post on X now?
I'm glad that you asked.
It used to be a tweet. Elon, I need to know.
Xing is not. It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't roll off the tongue like a tweet. Like a tweet is just that's such a perfect term for something.
I used to hate it. I was like, Twitter. Tweet. You want me to make a fucking tweet?
I also don't tweet ever though.
No, it sounded so stupid. I've got 2 Twitter accounts or 2 X accounts, and I don't ever go on there. Ever.
Don't do it.
I just don't. I tried to get what I tried to do was dump everything else and just solely use Twitter. It didn't work for me.
For me, like my best spot is usually Instagram or like even YouTube Reels are doing or YouTube Shorts, whatever you want to call them. They're doing better now too.
Yeah.
TikTok's a pain in the ass. It's starting to gain some traction now, but like Facebook and Twitter, I don't get any traction. on
Pornhub
there.
has shorts now, so you know.
Well, I mean that's what's on X too, man. Like it's either people talking about
yeah.
political bullshit or some girl showing her boobs trying to
Or
like promote her
someone
OnlyFans.
getting their
Fucking
head.
shot in the head.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, death, like all that stuff, dude. Even Instagram's like that nowadays, dude. There'll be like a guy
yeah.
falls off a building, I'm like, whoa. I'm
So
like,
much casual death everywhere.
Yeah.
I just like I can't get used to that stuff.
Well,
man.
Russell from So Scenic Photography, he sent me a reel earlier today in my messages on Instagram. And I can't remember what he did. He posted something, but he's a photographer that does a lot of like Miami Swim Week and stuff like that.
I believe I was watching the episode that you guys were talking.
Right. So he goes down there and he shoots a lot of like highfalutin people.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Really, status or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's a lot of to do, and it's a bikini show, and some of these bikinis are eeny beeny. They're eeny teeny.
Some
weeny.
dental floss.
Some of them, but I mean, they're always tasteful,
Uh-huh.
and the way he photographs and films them is always tasteful. But he posts these things. He'll make reels out of the content, and he'll post them and stuff. And I think he made a promo or something from one thing, and he got like a 30-day ban.
Oh, really? They got him?
Yeah. So he sent me a post that he found on Instagram, and it's literally a chick wearing like not even fishnet. It's almost like just see-through mesh.
Oh, yeah. All the time, dude.
And she's just sitting on her couch, just flopping her titties around, and I ain't mad at it.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If I could just helicopter my stuff on social media and make money off of it, boys, I
don't think I'd make too much money.
I don't think I would either. But at the end of the day, like that's the thing is like I don't hate on women for
my shit doesn't helicopter. It just kind of, it's like, just kind of goes in circles.
At least you got that.
I mean, like I don't hate on girls doing the grind, man.
No.
Like if I could be at home and like do my own
Selling
content,
your underwear.
yeah, or bathwater. Have you not seen these girls?
Oh, yeah.
Like they
spit.
Yeah, like all this
Earwax.
stuff. Like, there's so many freaking weird dudes out there. Not hating on anybody, you know, no king shaming here.
No, I hate on that shit. That's fucking weird.
It is weird, bro. I'm not gonna buy $100 freaking jar of bath water that girl basically probably stuck her finger in.
Hey, listen, don't yuck their yum, okay?
I'm not hating.
That's their kink, and that's okay.
Who you fuck don't make me come.
Whatever, you know. I mean, whatever anyone is into, I'm totally okay with it.
100%. I'm just saying from my
it's just
point of
weird
view.
to us because we're not into it.
Very true. Like I said, no king shaming. I personally wouldn't spend my hard-earned money on that product. Is what I'm saying.
No.
If that's your jam and you make money and can do that, more power to you, my man,
Yeah.
or woman, whoever, or whatever you want to identify as.
I posted today. I was like, dude, I'm gonna sell a kidney. There's a new
I saw that.
the R1 Canon R1 they're about to drop it, and it's like the beginning MSRP is like $6,000. So I'm like, I want it.
Wow.
I want it, but I don't need it.
Yeah,
I don't need it.
I understand.
You know, but I'll never. I say never. I probably will own it at some point, but I just don't fucking need it right now.
Do you want to hear an interesting fact about your body?
Sure.
So you were talking about selling a kidney. You know, if you cut off half your liver and donate it to someone, your liver would grow back.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think you can just do that a couple times.
For sure.
There you go, bro. You'd have that.
Isn't it like $20,000 for a testicle?
Yeah, I think so.
Shit.
20 or 25, yeah, somewhere around there.
I mean, you got two for a reason, right?
What? I mean, I've been snipped anyways.
They can add like a metal ball in there or something, right? Isn't that what they do for pit bulls?
I don't want that fucking clinking around like having a bell, like a little dog with a bell around their neck.
Anytime you go,
on your leg.
Where's Jim? Wait, listen.
anytime you go through the airport, man, they're gonna be groping you real quick.
Oh, I get stopped every time anyway.
Oh my god, dude! I had
You're
some.
plate in your neck.
That's true.
Titanium. They say it doesn't show up.
Yeah, but bullshit. It's metal.
Yeah. So
Last time me and Shannon went to the airport, a dude literally grabbed me by my sack. I was looking at this man in the eye. It was all over a belt. I was like, my man, I'm like, you got my like stuff in your hands right now, and I don't like get off it. This is so freaking weird.
I would have just went down and whispered in his ear, "Are you gonna buy me drinks later?" And just rub his neck with my chin. You know, I make shit awkward.
I don't get that low. I can't get that far.
No. Oh yeah, you'd have to really bend over. And,
I would basically like be laying on top of him by that point.
And then your balls would probably eject out of his hand because you put your butt. I don't know. It's just weird positioning.
Just
yeah.
you know,
Right.
say.
When you're just a tall,
Josie stopped it.
Wow.
being tall. Yeah, when people do creepy shit, I'm gonna be extra creepy
Yeah.
to you. You know, not you, but to that person.
It's just, can you imagine that being your job all day, man?
No.
No, I couldn't
No.
imagine having to grab a man by the balls, look him
I'm
in the
sorry,
eye.
but was there somebody there that was telling him to grab your balls?
They stopped me because I had my belt on. That's
Yeah.
the reason why they stopped me. They're like, "Do you want to go?" So my first thing should have been when they asked me like, "We're gonna need to go to a private room." I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "Okay, we can just do this here." And then this man grabbed me. I was like, "Whoa!" It's like,
There's so many other places you could have touched.
yeah. I was like, out of anything, I showed him my belt. I'm like, I don't have anything on me, man. I'm sitting here in freaking basketball shorts. I'm trying to get on this plane and go home or go to wherever we're going. I think we're going to Ohio or something.
Yeah.
Not a great place in general already, so I don't need that going on.
Buckeyes, go Buckeyes.
I was say I'm a Gator fan. Gators all day.
No, I know. That's the
I
only
know.
thing I know about Ohio.
Did you guys happen to see the roast of Tom Brady or see?
No.
I've
It
seen
was
part of it, yeah.
It was pretty funny. There were some good jokes.
I don't give a fuck about Tom Brady.
Oh, I don't either. I actually particularly don't like him personally.
I don't care. I just this is part of my problem in Jacksonville because everything is so sports centric.
Yeah.
I have always been the nerdy guy.
Is there not a single sport that you're interested in any way, shape, or form? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm
No.
just more wondering.
I do not follow any sport.
Interesting.
I don't follow any sport. I mean, occasionally, like if somebody was like holding a gun to my head, which I know this is an unreal fucking thing, it's not going to happen. But like
Patrick just goes off. He's like, "Tell me, motherfucker."
if they were like, you're going to sit down and now you're going to watch a sport and pick one, I would pick hockey.
That's a good one to choose. I ain't wrong with that.
I just like the fights, but
yeah.
the goons. That's it.
Then
But
watch some UFC, man.
I can't get into UFC either. You know,
UFC is interesting to watch because it's just that's basically like modern, and that's what football is as well as like modern day gladiators.
Yeah.
These dudes are basically just going in and like some of these punches that these guys take. I know, like you said, you're not a fan of UFC. There was one.
Not that I'm not a fan. I just don't follow it.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's a guy named Sean O'Malley. I don't know if you've heard of him before.
Sugar
Sean.
have
The
no
last
clue.
fight he was in, a guy bent down, and
Chicho.
this man full blown kneed this guy in the face, and it sounded like how he describes him hitting his head. It sounded like someone shot. It sounded like a gunshot, and this guy was still standing, still fighting the whole time. I'm like, I would have been dead.
Ate that knee, Cheeto Vera.
Yeah.
Bro ate
You
it.
know, and listening back to your podcast you just had a UFC fighter on.
Ramon Tavares.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. I forgot,
It's all good. That's why I'm here.
but I was shocked you didn't ask him about CTE.
So that was the thing is like I was trying to think of what all to talk about. I did forget about that part. That was one thing I was going to ask was about your recovery.
Like, is that something he's worried about? Like, because they do link like Alzheimer's
Oh,
to
100%, dude.
CTE and shit like that, which I'm definitely going to have Alzheimer's.
Your brain
I'm
is
working on it now.
every time you get punched in the head, your brain shakes or it gets pushed against your skull.
Even like riding a bike or on a jet ski.
I heard about that too. And I always thought about that. Like, I'm trying to think. Oh, like when you're running. I wonder,
Yeah.
does that not
Oh,
mess
yeah.
with you? Like when you're like running on the
has
treadmill or
to.
something like that's why I would think, right? Unless it's just a natural movement where it's not
Yeah,
as
you're
bad
getting a whole
for
bunch
you.
of like micro shocks that add up over time.
Yeah,
and
your little jelly in there, your jelly mold is flopping around in there and all that juice.
That's my biggest fear, man, is like getting older is like losing your memories because like that's something we've said on here before is like that's all you can take with you. You can't take money, you can't take fame or whatever that is with you. You can only take like what you did in your life and remember in your life. And I've seen like family members who go through dementia or as you were saying, Alzheimer's. That's a scary freaking thing.
I've had
man.
this theory, and it's probably not a new one. There's probably other people with this theory. But, like, when you come into the world and you're just a baby, like, you don't know shit. You can't talk. You shit in your pants. And then, people go through that also as they exit. I feel like dementia is just a way to kind of clear the slate. To kind of get you ready for death so that you don't really think about it as much and you're not worried about it.
Yeah, for me, it's like I think I talked about this last time as well. Is like the passage of time freaks me out because just this year we're about to be 6 months into 2024.
Yeah.
And it feels like this. And I know this is probably something you've thought about.
Oh,
Both of
dude.
you guys have. It's crazy how
The
fast.
older you get, the more you think about it.
That's the thing is I know I'm only 25, will be 26 next year, but it just seems like from 18 to now has flown by so quickly. I've gone from being an immature 18-year-old kid who thought he like
you did a lot since then.
yeah, and it goes by so quick, dude. Like me and Shannon are married now. I remember
Yeah.
like when I first proposed, and now we're like 6-7 months into our married life and everything, and it's just crazy how fast time goes. Now we have friends who are about to have kids, and we're talking about having kids and all this other. It's weird. It's just so. I still feel like I'm 6. Like 6, 7 years old,
It's
just trying to
speed
figure
up
it
when
out.
you have kids.
Well, I'm sure, man. Just every day is probably a blur. Patrick, you're a father too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's say both you guys. I'm sure, like those first couple years of just scrambling because you have a newborn
Yeah.
or like a toddler running around,
You
and
still got to work and
Mhm.
figuring out childcare. Like, are you going to stay home or am I going to stay home? Or
Yeah, and then you find your schedule and you get so stuck in it that everything just is, like you said, a blur. Everything morphs into one day. It
Yeah.
seems like.
well, that's
yeah.
me now, man. Is like I have a schedule. Like I go to work, I get home, go to the gym and podcast, or I get home, go to the gym, and me and Shannon make dinner and hang out together, and then we sit there and look at our phones, and I go play video games at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And it's a routine. I'm very much a creature of habit a lot. And I've been trying to break these habits, just kind of change things up. So it's not the same thing every single day.
Right.
Make something worth out of every single day kind of thing is what I try to look at it. But it's just weird. I talk about it frequently. It freaks me out about how fast time goes by because I'll be looking at this time and this will be a memory. I'll be 70 and I'm like, damn. Like I
remember that.
That was a good time.
Well, and that's the cool thing about kids, like having kids and watching them grow. And cherishing those special moments because there are special moments that you cherish, and I know everybody has them. Whatever that looks like to you, whether it's their first step, their first word, their first poopy doop, whatever. I loved all of that shit. I loved, bath time. I loved fucking doing hair, and I mean, I got really good between Gabby and Bianca, my daughters. I got really good at like pigtails, ponytails, braids because I was, You know, like my ex, she would go to work before me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would have to get them ready for either daycare or school.
Gotcha.
Well, not really daycare. We got lucky that my ex's mom, my ex mother-in-law, love her to death. I love her to death. Love her to life. Love her. I don't know what the fuck is that love her to death thing. I don't know what that is.
That is an interesting.
But she's
turn
so
of phrase.
sweet. She's such a sweet lady. We didn't get along right away. But there was some time we had a little rub. Like when we had to live with them for like 6 months while we were having a house built.
That's everybody getting a rub. You know, you're
Yeah.
just living around other people.
Yeah, we got annoyed with each other. But after that, we were fast friends. You know, we were the best friends. And but you know, so she watched her. But yeah, getting them ready in the morning. You know, just little things here and there. You know, whatever it may be. It could be the smallest thing. You watch them. And you see their little minds develop.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, is like the coolest thing. Watching this little fucking gelatinous little ball of blubber grow into this like weird thing, and now it's a kid. And
Person.
now,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's a person talking to me. There's this little, who are you? You
Yeah.
know, let's, you know, and you get to know them,
Mhm.
you know, and then they get to know you, and then they develop their own little personalities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is based on your personality.
I was
so
just
you're
gonna
kind of
say.
like talking to a mirror. you
Yeah,
know?
it's weird, you know, and like I was telling you, just with the passage of time of me becoming I don't feel like an adult. I feel like I'm just figuring shit out every single day and just
Right.
trying to make it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just I am excited though to be a dad because it'll just be a new challenge, and also I'll would have created my own family. You
Yeah.
know? Like I didn't have the like together family, and now I'm lucky where parents are both like remarried, everybody's cool now, but I want to try to make that life where, you know, the parents stay together, and obviously life's hard, but I just think it'll be a great challenge, and I look forward to being a parent, and whether it's a girl or a boy, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm just
No,
excited.
as long
for
as
the
they're
approach.
healthy, or
Yeah.
you know, even if they're. I mean, even you take what. It's like in life, you just take whatever life gives you,
Mhm.
and you make the best of it. You know, so I mean, if there's things that are not, you know, normal or whatever, you fucking roll with it, and you love that child. It doesn't matter, but hopefully, you know, a happy, healthy baby bouncing,
Yep.
whatever. You know,
What was the scariest thing for you as you were a new dad? What freaked you out?
when they got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, but it changed over time, because it was like at first it was when they got hurt, I would like freak the fuck out,
Mhm.
you know. But then over time it was like they're getting bullied in school,
Mm.
and you know you want to step in, but you know you can't.
It's kind of like it's a helpless feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Like with Gabby, my oldest, she was pretty well equipped to handle. I mean, everybody just loved her.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they didn't love my other one. They did love her. Everybody loved both of them.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and it might have just been the time frame, the time period or whatever, or she just happened to get in there and there was some, I mean, maybe Gabby dealt with some dickheads, you know, bullied. But, I mean, my youngest, she got bullied a lot by these two girls. And it was like constant.
Girls are ruthless, man.
Oh,
I've said
dude.
that a bunch of times. Girls
Dude,
are
if
ruthless.
you wear the wrong shit or whatever, you end up fucking up and wearing the same shirt twice in a week. Like, they
Mhm.
fucking call her out, you know?
Yep.
But, like, they would do this weird shit, these two girls. They would, like, pretend to be her friend and, like, get her in. And then the next day, they would just fucking berate her.
That's psychology. Like,
Oh, dude.
psychology. It's weird.
Well, they're psycho for sure. But, like, I got to the point where I got tired of coming home and my daughter coming home and, like, seeing her red-faced and being, you know, crying.
Of course.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she wouldn't talk to me. When she finally told me, I was like, all right. I didn't tell her, but I took my ass up there and I fucking pulled the principal. I couldn't see at that time, so I pulled the vice principal and I was like, yo, this is enough.
Mhm.
I've had enough. You know, I need you to fucking do something because y'all have this like anti-bullying policy and you're not
Upholding it.
You're not upholding it.
Yeah.
You know, let's see you do something. So they ended up having like a, but that was like I said, the hurting and then the physical, the emotional hurt. You know, and especially like if you have girls,
That's a whole different
boys
thing.
are different. You know,
boys
you
are
can
way different.
Yeah, you can like knock them around. You know, whatever.
They're made out of rubber.
Pretty much, it doesn't take much to make them happy. You know,
Yeah.
here's a fucking raviolis, or here's a pizza, or
Mhm.
you know, just most of the time it's like food.
Yeah.
You know, But
For sure.
I'm still like that to this day.
oh yeah, I'll be. You bring me some, whatever, some shrimp linguine or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm
Yep.
easy. Whataburger for me, man.
Yeah, no,
Honestly,
whatever.
I'll be so happy you hand me some Whataburger.
Yeah, you hand me some food, I'll shut the fuck. I'll forget what I'm talking about. Baked goods for me.
Oh, I do love
It's-
some treats.
It's
yeah.
the baked goods for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was, anyways.
My dad at a young age taught me, like 5 or 6 years old, always stand up to your bully.
Oh, yeah.
And I had YMCA summer camp one time. There was this kid named Dan,
Fucking
who we ended up
Dan.
becoming friends. But he would always take food off my plate, like at lunch.
Oh, hell no.
And bully me and berate me and all that during the day. So, like, finally, my dad got tired of me coming home, talking to him about it. And he's like, listen, son, if you're not going to do something about it, I'm going to do something about it, and I'm going to whoop your ass if you're not going to whoop his ass, basically.
Yep.
And so next day, lo and behold, Dan did it, and I ended up cracking him over the face
Yep.
with a plastic tray, and I got kicked out of YMCA. But it's just a very important lesson for me. Just like, okay, maybe you shouldn't hit him, but at least stand up to your bully, let him know you're not going to fucking take no shit from him. And that was a very important lesson for me.
You
growing
got
up.
to set boundaries, man. 100%. Like, I was lucky where I was always kind of a bigger dude, so like nobody really messed with me. There was really not too many issues. The only time that I really got suspended from school is because I went to Sandwood High School. Fuck Sandwood.
Whoa, hey.
Fuck Sandwood.
Yeah. You couldn't pay me to go back to high school. So I was dating this girl at this time, and she ran up to me crying, like with a red mark on her face. I was like, "What happened to you?" And some dude hit her, and I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go take care of that." And I ended up running over to at Sandwood. There's these outside portable classes.
Were you the height you are now?
Yeah, I've always been. I was like 6'4" going into.
Careful
high
saying
school.
I've always been this height.
And I think you were heavier, too, in high school. Way heavier.
I was a little bit heavier,
Your
but
poor mother. I've always been this height since I was born.
Well, like whenever I was in middle school, I was already 6 foot, and then I went into high school and I was
Jesus.
6'4" and I'm a 6'5", 6'4" right now.
Yeah.
So I went to go handle that, and it was outside in a portable classroom. So I was walking my way over there. The security guard heard about it, went and got the guy, brought him back to the front office. I was like, "That's fine." I was like, "I'll come up there too," and I made a whole ruckus. I was yelling at this kid. I was like, "You put your hands on women?" He's like, I was like, "Come put your hands on me, and we'll figure this out." Blah blah blah. So that happened. I got suspended. This kid didn't get suspended at all and ended up moving schools and all that. Like I said, this isn't made to make me sound like a tough guy. I'm just more like, you don't hit women. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, this should be a precedent that should be set by the high school. It shouldn't take me coming up there and saying I'm going to whoop your ass for this to like change. But my parents weren't mad. They're like, we understand. that was the one thing they were like, we're cool with that one. So.
I could imagine they would back you on that one.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
it wasn't anything too bad. It's just I hate that kind of stuff, man.
To this day, though, I still live by bully your bully.
Oh yeah,
That's
man.
just how
I won't
am.
bully the bully, but like to your point, we all had our bullies in school, and it's the pecking order. You kind of, it has to be in place. It has to be in place. Like you can't have an anti-bullying program. That's stupid. There's gonna be people that are gonna fuck with other people, and you're either gonna step up or you're just gonna continue to be fucking beat down your whole life, and then you're gonna turn into a serial killer. Whatever. I mean. I don't know how those people are made. I don't know. I've never watched Making a Murderer, but I mean, I'm sure our lady viewers can tell me all about that. They love that fucking murder shit.
It's so weird, dude. There's
Does
like
Shannon do that?
not even just her. Like I'm interested too. Like I loved Criminal Minds and all that stuff when I was growing up. Like that stuff's interesting. But after you hear about these dudes that like hack up women and all this other stuff, I'm like checking under my bed to make sure like someone's not like waiting for me under there. It's just after a while, it gets like too dark for me. I'm just like that's twisted. Or especially if it's anything with kids or anything like that.
Dude.
That just makes me sad. I'm like I can't watch. I'm just getting depressed by watching this stuff.
Oh yeah, I can't take it.
Like the whole like pedophile thing and all that stuff. Like send them to death. That's
That's a tough one, man, because like I definitely would. You want to talk about pedophiles? Like
They just passed a law in Tennessee for death penalty for child rapists.
good.
Yep.
Now, on the other, there's some sides to that, and the only thing I'll say is there are women or young ladies that have been known, it's been proven that they are full of shit.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I know, but and like maybe it's a guy. I'm not saying it ain't all of them, but there is a small percentage of guys that lies were told.
yeah.
So in that regard, if I die because someone lies on me, I'm gonna be really fucking. Well, I'll be dead, but I mean, it'd be really fucking suck.
I can understand that 100%. You know, as you said, there have been cases where women have not told the truth, but also there's other things where these guys get caught with stuff on their computer.
Oh, yeah, no,
and,
that's
like
irrefutable proof.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And obviously, you know, you do deserve a day in court as our systems work, but unfortunately, it looks like the court systems aren't working the best in certain areas.
There's a lot of the system that doesn't work right.
Just lousy defense.
Yeah.
Lousy DAs.
Well, it's not even just that, man. So my wife works for a lawyer. She works in the law office and everything. And he told me something because I guess I never really thought about it this way. It is the defense's burden to prove you guilty. So that's the main thing is the proof and getting all that out and everything. So it's just a game.
Have you ever done jury duty?
Actually, knock on wood, I don't want to go do it. But yeah.
Why not?
I don't think I'm not gonna get paid to go sit there. And also, what if
your job pays you?
Do they? Mm-hmm. It just depends. Like if it's an interesting case.
Well, they're supposed to. I don't know about your job.
Yeah, I don't know if they would, but if it was an interesting case, maybe. But also, there's other things where, like, you know, sometimes the facts aren't all there, and then if you guys all disagree, you're there for 4 days until someone just finally gets tired and says, "Fuck it." They're like, "It is what it is," you know.
So I've done jury duty, and when I got the notification, I was a little miffed. I was like, "Damn it, I don't want to do this." But then I said, turn a negative into a positive. I said, I would really, I'm inquisitive, so I really wanted to see our judicial system at work. Outside of what I had, the very little bit that I, you know, when I adopted, you know, my oldest daughter, she's not my blood, but she is my daughter, you know, and I adopted her at 2. And that was pretty much the only time I was ever really in court.
Gotcha.
You know, so I wanted to see how it worked. How does this whole thing work? So I got excited about it. You know, I put my suit on. You know, everybody else was in like dungarees and fucking overalls, and they were trying to get out of it as best they could.
Yeah.
And I did everything they told me to do. I answered all the questions, you know, according to how I thought the answers should be, not based on what I thought they wanted to hear. Ended up selecting me. You know, the selection process was extremely excruciating and weird. You know, like when they're asking you all these, they're like, so you'd have the defense, you'd have the judge, and you'd have the prosecutor on this side. And on the defense side would be the criminal. Everyone on the panel has a legal pad and a pen. And they all get turns asking you questions. They literally asked me about how many daughters I had. Or how many kids I had. They're female. How old are they? What are their names? Where do they go to school? It was weird. Where do they go to school?
That's a lot of information to be putting out there.
They asked me my address.
And this is in front of the defendant.
In front of, yes.
Fuck.
And he's up there doing this.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's going to come and find me and like steal my kids. You know, like what the fuck? I didn't feel comfortable with that at all.
I wouldn't either.
But, you know, I wanted to see this thing through, and you answer the fucking questions. I'm like, it's safe. It's our judicial system. This is how shit works, right? So I went through the process, and then turns out it was like a home invasion, home theft, which turned into a armed robbery. They found a gun inside.
Okay.
And they used it, you know.
On them,
yeah. Which is weird because the people weren't even home. So I don't know how that works, but those were the charges. And man, talk about, we spent 4 days, you know, we weren't sequestered or anything like that. We got to go home, but 4 full, you know, 8 to 10 hour days deliberating. We had printouts of text messages, and phone calls, and we had maps with GPS tags and locations and times and stuff. We had everything.
It's crazy how much information they
Dude.
That's kind of wild.
It was, yeah. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. All this shit. Like they have all of this. Like
it shows they can find you if they want you.
For sure.
They'll get you. Like these phones that we have in our pockets, they'll come find you in 2 seconds.
But I mean, it got to the point where, like you said, everybody was like, well, you know, there was this thing, then and I, you know, I'm like, look. And I had to stand up, and I was like, I'm fucking tired. We're done. You know, I wasn't the foreman because you always select the foreman, whoever's going to speak the verdict and stuff. But like, I just was like, listen, here's the facts. We've got this, 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 and this. It's all here in black and white. What more do you need to see? What more do you need to deliberate on? And it was. I feel like if it weren't for me doing that, we might have been there another 4 days.
It's just crazy how the deliberation is, man.
It's nuts.
So I have gone to court before, and not for me, but for other people, like friends and stuff, and gone and seen. So like you get arrested, and then there's the arraignment. So they tell you your charges, what your bond is set at, blah blah blah. And these people who have
I love it when he blah blah blah.
Sorry, I know I say it all the time. Whenever that happens, you watch these guys with what are they called? When you can't afford a lawyer, what are those lawyers called?
A DA,
district attorney, or
defense attorney, or
public defender.
Defender, yeah.
So these are people who have 50 cases on them that day, and they are not going to be able to look at your case for that long. I watched guys who took plea deals, and it was 30 years of their life, and they were standing there for 30 seconds in front of that judge.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary right there, dude. They could take your life away from you. You have no choice. Obviously, you did something wrong in some way, shape, or form. That's a whole thing. But there's people out there, man, who get screwed, and there's no evidence. There's a group called they're on Rogan all the time. I forgot their names, but basically, Fight for the Forgotten or something. They go out there and they help
for
these
the
people.
Pygmies?
No. Oh, I guess that is for the Pygmies, but I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. Basically, what they do is they go in and they look at cases where people feel like they're wrongly convicted.
Okay.
And if they believe and see the facts of the case where they think you are wrongly convicted, they'll reopen it and then try to get where they try to change your verdict and everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but they did that for someone, and it was a guy who was on Rogan, and then 3 months later, there was a video recording of this man holding a person's head in a bag wearing a blonde wig.
His name was Stanley. Stanley, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I saw this video.
Shit.
This guy was in jail since like the 70s or 80s or something. Got let out because those people helped him, and then he wasn't aware of technology and how good cameras were working.
They took the episode off.
Oh, they took it away?
Yeah, they took it off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild for Rogan.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he didn't want to give that guy any clout. You don't want to talk about that.
Well, the thing is, this man did a 3-hour episode and talking about how he's changed his life and all this stuff, and to see how that worked, it's crazy to see how they do help some people, and then there's wrong. There's the people that you thought were right, and you were wrong. It's crazy to see the back and forth.
Bro cut their head off, right, and then dressed up in a blonde wig, didn't nothing else. And he didn't realize that cameras now are like HD, and you can pick up on stuff like that. And they nabbed his ass right then and there. He chopped some dude's head off, and
left it in the freezer or something like that. It was crazy.
House, yeah.
When I saw that, I saw it on like Twitter or something. I saw that they put that out there. I was like, whoa! Yeah. I was waiting for so long for Rogan to talk about it.
He talked about it a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I listened to it. I was like, finally, he brought it up. I was like, I've been waiting to hear him talk about that.
The weirdest part about the whole jury duty thing, like when we were done and we deliberated, which we ended up finding him guilty, and I think he got like either 10 or 20 years. I can't remember which one. I might have been 10, but and his whole family was there crying and shit, whatever. But they told us before we went in to deliver the verdict, that when or you guys out of the courthouse or out of the courtroom, you'll go down this hallway and you'll go out the back door. You'll go to your car, and we want you to do this before we let anyone else out of the courtroom. So that you can get your car, get out of the fucking parking lot, and leave, and you won't feel like you're going to get like your ass beat in the parking lot, or someone's going to follow you home.
Well, I mean, they already have your freaking address, so they can just come find you later.
The families don't.
I know. If you talk, they talk on the phone, man.
I don't know how much that he got to keep.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think they probably take that away afterwards, unless he just fucking burned it into his brain. But I mean,
my luck, it would be my address.
Yeah. But here's the fucked up thing: we all get outside, and as soon as we just hit the fucking pavement outside, I look to my left, and I see everybody coming out of the courthouse, and then I see his family, and wouldn't you know it, they parked right next to me.
Oh. Gosh.
So I get in my car, and they're like staring me down. And I'm like, there was 15 or 20 of us. Why are you fucking hating on me? Although I was a big part of that verdict.
I like how the fact where he's like, here are the facts.
Yeah.
They don't know that part, though. That's the main thing.
No, I was just trying to get the fuck out of there so I could go home. But I got in my car, man, and I fucking started going down the road, and they were right behind me.
Oh.
So I went I drove around for probably about an hour and a half when it should have only taken me about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, I would be invading.
And I was going through neighborhoods and, back roads and just and they followed me for a good while.
Oh hell no.
Making turns that I made and I was like, shit. Once I finally realized that they were like not behind me anymore and, I felt pretty confident, then I went home. And then I immediately drove into the garage because we had a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
I drove straight into the garage, shut the garage door, and I'm looking the whole time to make sure nobody was like,
hell
right
no,
behind
man.
me. But dude, that was the dodgiest shit I've ever. Clay County.
That's
rules.
scary, man. That would
Yeah.
freak because there's people out there, man, that are willing to take people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
It's very common, especially stuff over like their family and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it was interesting to see the whole process from beginning to end.
Does this make you want to do jury duty, Patrick?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's how this is making.
I just hope if I'm ever wrongfully accused of something that someone would give a shit about my case. That's for sure.
I'd come out there, buddy. I would come out. I'd come out and support. I'm like, he didn't do it. Free my dog. Free my dog, Patrick.
He didn't cut his head off.
No.
I mean, if you did it, you did it. But I mean, I got you back. I'll be there with you.
Same. And hey, Shannon works for law office, buddy. We got
Yeah.
you. We got you.
That's what's
I
up.
Hell
say
yeah.
shout out to Randy Reap. I say
Oh
Lawyer up.
shit! Okay, got a lawyer up.
Lawyer
Up
up.
on the shout out on the podcast.
he's been a guest on my podcast.
That's good.
He's a lawyer by day and a fighter pilot by night.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
Yeah, Shannon got to sit in a jet the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, actual like
dope.
F-15 and everything. I was like, dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you should vlog that shit, dude. And maybe you can go out there and hang out and
I'm trying to, man. Like,
take you out.
I've been putting this on every podcast I've talked about. There's one person I've been trying to really interview, and it is Ken Babby, the owner of the Jumbo Shrimp here in Jacksonville. My dream is to do
And to ask him why the fuck he changed the name from the Suns to the.
It is a weird name change, but he has done a lot for the business. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like that baseball team has grown like crazy.
Well, I keep hearing good things. I don't follow them, but I mean, anytime I see anything about the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimps, like they're doing really good.
I've met him twice. He's a really nice dude. And what I wanted
Apparently,
to
they're like a good team.
They are a good team, and they're actually a farm team, basically the minor leagues, and then these guys can have a chance to make it to like play for the Yankees, these like bigger professional teams. So they basically help them get better, and then they can make it to those
Does
higher.
anyone even watch baseball anymore?
The only time I really pay attention is more playoff time because I'm a Red Sox fan.
I stopped watching when they stopped wearing them tight pants.
Wow.
Now they just wear like slacks. Like, what's that about?
Are you trying to like look for the bulge? What are we doing here?
Let me see that cup. I'm trying to see that dump truck run to first base, boy.
No, but like with Ken Babby, I want to sit on home plate and do a podcast from home plate and have that as the background.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think that'd be freaking sweet. I really want to do that.
I took the girls to a Suns game back when they were the Suns.
I love the Suns games. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like 5 people in the entire stadium.
Dude, you could go in there and sit in any seat you wanted to. The one thing I do give them, though, it is always cheap food in there. Like, not expensive. You can go in there with $50 and that covers your tickets, that covers your food, covers your beers for the night if you drink. It's just a fun time at the park. They do fireworks every Friday and Saturday. I enjoy going. It's always been a good time for me.
Yeah, the company I used to work for, we would get free tickets and shit, And the position I was in, they would always give them to us first. Usually I would give them to my employees.
Yeah.
But sometimes I would keep them and be like, we're going to take the kids. We would go. I didn't watch the fucking game at all. I just hung out with my kids that they were watching, and they were so excited when they would hear that ball crack. They would like jump, and I would get them the foam fingers and shit. And there's some pictures on my Facebook of that stuff. But
sports are fun, man. Like I know, like you're not too much into them.
Not a big fan.
There's been only one time in my life where I've actually felt, or a couple times really, but like this is one of the major times where I felt like energy in the air. There was a game, I've told the story before, but basically the Jaguars were down by 21 points before halftime, and this was a playoff game to
A game,
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
This is a little joke.
That wasn't their A
They're
game.
always way down.
Oh, no, you're not wrong, 100%. But this time, this was a season where we were actually they were doing particularly good. And we watched them come back and kick a last-second field goal to win the game. And when I tell you the eruption from the crowd, there were people were jumping, hugging each other, screaming. And as we're walking out of the stadium, people are hugging each other and like yelling Duval. And like,
God, I fucking hate that.
Oh, man, I love it. Smack! That feeling of walking into the stadium and looking up and getting hyped up, have a couple beers in you. Oh, it's such a vibe.
No,
I love it.
I joke, and it's like a running joke. They gotta know. I mean, people talk shit on them. Like, the Jaguars fans are, to me, I feel like they're fair weather fans.
Oh, you're not wrong, 100%.
Like they fucking hate them when they're down, but when they're doing good, oh my God, it's Jaguars everything. You know?
There's a lot of bandwagoners. I've been a fan my whole life. I've gone through them winning one game out of the whole season and all that stuff. It's just some people are bandwagon fans and some people aren't. I love the Jaguars. That's I have great fond memories of like what you were describing of like taking your kids to the ball game. Hey, go Jags! 100%.
I got a fucking Jags tat.
Duval till
really?
Duval till we die. 100%. But like just
my mom worked there for 14 years.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, Pat. What does a dick taste like? Oh,
I don't know. I was gonna ask you why yours tastes like shit, Jim.
You didn't clean your bunghole.
Is this what you guys do when we're not here? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
That's right. It's just a little fun. We're just funning.
Oh, I understand.
Off-color jokes. It's good that he has a sense of humor about it. Some people would be like, my favorite thing is when you call someone, like we're friends. If we're having a conversation, I was like, bitch, please. Or come on, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, I'm ex-Army, man. You can't out-gay me. I'll kiss the fuck out of your neck, motherfucker.
You do. You kind of make me nervous sometimes, Pat.
Have you ever heard of the creator Nico Ortiz? Do you know who that is? He was an ex-Army guy, and everything is him. Like he'll do like reviews of TikToks of like from the Army.
That's
and
not the
everything.
guy that does like that does the chapstick on his lips. You know what I'm talking about?
He might, but he'll do a bunch of like military content of like, oh, this is like the Navy, and the Navy's always gay, and then there's the Air Force, and they're not doing shit, and then the Marines are like the jocks who like barely know how to speak and everything.
Yeah.
And his content's hilarious. He makes the military look like fun. To be honest,
the military is great. There's so many different facets of idiots out there in the military. It's awesome.
Hey, it's not just the military; it's fucking everywhere.
You're right.
You talked to you said you did talk to Stay Young Clothing, right?
Yes.
He was talking to me about yes, shout out Tyshawn. He was talking to me about what he does in the military, and he like loads ordnance, so like bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
And when he was talking about it, like the glimmer in his eye, he loves that, and I thought it was funny. But it's like I said, the military guys are cool. It's always interesting to hear.
Dudes just like to set shit on fire and blow shit up.
I'm the same way, dude. Have you ever seen those videos where people will get a big chunk of ice and throw it against the ground and it just explodes? I'm like,
and it'll say for the boys, and I definitely watch to the end.
100%.
For the boys.
100%. I'm all about like that kind of little stuff, or people just destroying shit. I'm all about it. I love things like that.
Yeah. I wish I could say I never burnt ants with a fucking magnifying glass, but I did. I've already told the story about pouring salt on slugs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not. Look, we were dumb kids when we were little.
There was no TV back then.
I mean, there was,
I
but when I was a kid, my mom would literally, especially like on a Saturday and Sunday, we would wake up and be watching Saturday cartoons at 9 o'clock when they were done and the news would come on. We would get dressed, go the fuck outside. She'd push us outside and lock the fucking door. And we would have to be out there. It was like we had to be out there. She didn't want us to be inside. And it was like, but the only stipulation was you get your ass back here before the street lights come on. Literally, dude. That is no shit. That's that's not a joke.
That's how I grew up too.
Yeah.
I'll say my generation was, we played outside. I went and played football, or like we would go run around causing mischief in the neighborhood all day. And then when you said street lights came on, you better be home. Like I didn't have a cell phone. I remember growing up and like iPhone wasn't even a thing yet. And I tell my little brother that, he was 14 now, and he's like, that's weird. What are you talking about? No iPhone. I was like, I remember when the iPhone came out. And
imagine having to look up your friend's phone number in a phone book.
Oh, yeah. Like, the only really phone numbers I remember is my mom's, because I used to have to dial it on, like, the regular phones. And then my wife's. That's really about it. I don't really remember anybody else's cell phone number. It's impossible.
Or, like, a payphone. Like, I used to have, I thought I was hot shit when I got a pager.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I thought I was hot shit. And when I was, I don't know if it's another story. I don't know if I told on your podcast, but like when I was a kid, it was my third job. It was my third job. My friend Roy, who was on the podcast, the DJ. He had got me a job. There's a place in Jacksonville in Mandarin called Loria's, and it's like a service merchandise, which you still don't know what that means. It was like a small department store. Okay. It was not. It was like a Sears or something like that.
Yeah.
They had a sight and sound department where they had stereos and TVs.
Okay.
They had jewelry. They had furniture, shit like that. Well, he got me a job in the warehouse, and well, we got special perks. You know, you get a discount on buying shit. Well, I was friends with the sight and sound guy, and that's where they had. And I saw this. They had pagers, and I was watching them. And I was like, I asked my mom, I'm like fucking 19 or some shit, or 18. I don't know how old I was. 17 maybe. But I was like, can I get a pager? And she's like, fuck no. And I was like, all right. So it was like the pagers, it was like $50 for this pager.
Yeah.
And then I get my discount on top of that. So it was like $35. I got this black pager. Wasn't a fancy one.
So quick question on pagers. This is gonna make me sound like a child.
Yeah.
So did you have to like buy a service for the pager on top of it?
It was like $10 a month.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like, cell phones, like you used to have to pay per text or per call and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
You and it was unlimited pages.
Mm-hmm.
It was not like, but I thought I was hot shit when I was at school or wherever the fuck I was, or at work. I had that bitch on my hip the whole time. I didn't have a cell phone, so I had to literally pull over to a payphone and call someone back, or you'd wait till you get home, or you just get that 911 page, from your buddies, and that meant we're about to spark this bowl, and you go right there.
Yes, sir.
And it was always my friend Aaron and Phil. They were brothers, and I would go there and we would get fucked up, But
sounds like a great page right there.
Oh, it was the best. But I smoked a lot of cigarettes back then. So in my car, I had in my glove box, I had my pager and my cigarettes because I had to hide them from my mom.
Oh, same back in the day.
So one day I get up to go wherever, to school, or I can't remember. And I go out, and on the table, I guess because I parked behind her in the driveway, so she decided to root through my shit. But just very politely on the table, my pager and my pack of cigarettes were sitting right on the table like that. And she was already gone to work. And I was like, how did that get there? I know I didn't put that there. And it was like her nonchalant way of saying, bitch, I know what the fuck you're up to.
My mom did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's funny that she did that. Like, mine was a vape, though. She never caught me smoking cigarettes. I was like 18 at the time, and, I was legal, allowed to do it. And I came home, and, like, this is back in the day of, like yours. So, but it was like the glass bottles with the dropper tubes to put in your vape juice and stuff. I came in my room and just right on my TV stand. It was just sitting there, my vape and the juice. Didn't say a word to me about it, but I was like, and my mom is not like that usually.
Let me ask you this though: after that day, did you start vaping near them, or did you?
Oh, they were just aware. I said, "Fuck it," and just started doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like after my mom did that, then that day when she got home, she would go outside and have a cigarette. I walked out there with my pack of cigarettes and sat down and lit one up right next to her, and she was like,
Well, you were 18 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So you're grown. Or not grown, but you're legally allowed to have it.
And but my mom is 4 foot nothing, but she was dangerously scary. I was so afraid of my mom.
I wouldn't mess with really any of my family members. My mom knows how to take care of business, and then stepfather was Navy, and then my dad is like 6'3", 200-something pounds. I wouldn't want to mess with anybody.
I raised my hand to my mom one time in my life, and that woman, she scared the fuck out of me. And I realized at that moment that no, she will fucking kill me. She will fucking she will end me.
Oh yeah, man. There's times, and I feel like I'm sure you as a parent have had to really like stand up to your child and be like, you're not walking all over me.
They're girls. They know. Both of them, one of them has half of me like on this one, and the other one has the other half of me on that one. I would let those girls do anything.
Yeah.
They could have shit and painted all of the walls with it. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd just clean it up. Now their mom, on the other hand, would have been a different story. She was kind of the disciplinarian.
My mom was definitely the disciplinarian.
Yeah, I was a pushover.
It is, man. It's all just different parenting styles, Everybody.
Still to this day, I'm a pushover.
Well, all your kids are grown now, right?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It never goes away, dude.
Well, say Patrick's married to one of your daughters, right?
Yeah, she's his problem now. Love you, Gabby.
Keep her straight.
That's right.
No, that's cool. And I think it's cool that you guys can actually hang out and be friends together and everything. I find that like as a cool dynamic.
Fuck, I've known you for more than
Since
half
you
my
were
life
15.
now. Yeah. the
Oh
stuff.
wow! I say
Yeah.
that is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's kind of the point where I've gotten to my parents now. They're not like the disciplinarians tell me what I have to do. Now I can just go over to their house and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with right now, and they, they're mentors now to me more than just like, hey, you need to fucking do this, blah 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 blah. I can go over there, have a drink with them, have a good time with both set of parents, or even now where my family's gone to the point, even after the divorce, we all can go have dinners together, the whole family, and everybody's friendly, talking, all that stuff. It's a cool thing, and
It's
a cool
cool
feeling.
vibe, and you'll get to know this, but as you get older, you start to feel like you're wise beyond your years, and that you can become this great sage. Where I worked before, when he was a young man, and I hired him, it was his first job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was a group of them guys. They used to hang around the four horsemen or whatever you want to call them, and fuckers. But yeah,
We were nowhere near the fucking Four Horsemen.
no,
Am I,
they were
what,
the four square men.
what was
Yeah.
the job? Am I allowed to know?
It's
fine if you don't wanna say it.
I don't want to give them. It was at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Okay, heard that.
But at any rate, though, what the fuck was I going with that? But yeah, they would. I felt like I would give them like advice and shit like that. We would all sit around and talk, and they were always at the house. They were hanging out all the time, and I just felt like I needed to bestow my fucking wisdom on these kids. And as I was, not just them, but even when I was younger, but I was always in management, always, and I would hire people, young men, and I felt like I was their mentor, and I needed to mentor these young men. They would come to me with woes of women, oh, God, I don't know, she's gonna break up with me, and I'm like, break up with her now.
Do it.
Stop dating chicks. It was just like, don't date guys unless you're into that. But I mean, that wasn't the advice I was giving them. It was just like, don't ever get fucking married. I used to tell dudes all the time.
That's hilarious.
I might have told you guys that too. Just don't.
For sure.
What the fuck do you need to get married for? Just have fun.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Live your life. Build yourself. But I mean, it came from a place of love. I didn't mean for that. I mean, most of the guys I told that to, I see them now and they're married and have kids or dogs or whatever. But
Kids or dogs?
because a lot of these young families nowadays, they don't want to have kids.
No, it's very common. But like you were talking about bringing up like the sage advice and everything. I'm doing that with my brother now. Seth, shout out to Seth. He's 14, 15 years old now, and I'm seeing him go through the same teenage angst
Does
that
he
I
listen
went
to you?
through. No, he listens pretty well.
Oh, okay.
I will give Seth that. Like I said, he's growing up, and I like what my parents will tell him is a little bit more soft gloved. I'm more just straight to him. I'm like, you need to get your fucking shit together, or
Yeah.
like stop testing the family. I'm like,
It's that being direct is what they need.
Well, I just tell him because I went through the same situations that he's going through. The same things he's getting in trouble for is the same thing I was doing. And I was just like,
See, I learned from my sisters.
I didn't have any siblings growing up. It was just
No,
me.
I know.
Yeah, so
Well,
like
he should be watching you.
I've been gone since he was
Oh,
8.
that's
Since
true.
he was what? I was 10 when he was born. So since he was 8 years old, I've been out of the house. So he basically has grown up as an only child in the home. So whenever I come over and like my mom will be in my ear saying, he did this, can you talk to him? And I'll talk to him. I'm just more like, dude, I'm like, just relax.
It's easier to hear it from your peers.
Yeah, I also tell him, I'm like, dude, I'm not your parent. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you need to do, but I'm like, your life will be 10 times easier is if you stop testing the parents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you keep them on your ass.
Stop pissing in the pool.
Yeah, I'm like, if you keep like them getting on your ass, dude, I'm like, they're not going to let you go out. They're not going to let you get a car.
Right.
They're not going to let you do. I'm like, dude, just like get through this first couple parts and
Get
then
with the fucking program.
and then you're golden. I'm
Yeah.
like, or just get better at hiding it.
Right,
That's the main
right.
thing I told him. I'm like, dude, I'm like, just stop doing stupid shit.
Well, see, that's where I got lucky. I had two twin sisters that were like 4 years older than me, and I watched them our whole lives just fuck up left and right. And I was like, okay, don't never do that.
He was too young to watch, like, understand my fuck ups. That was the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, dude, it's 9 o'clock, bro.
You're good, man. I say.
Patrick's about to turn to a fucking pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody join us tonight, or the Who Are You
Josie
podcast?
hopped in.
Shout out Josie. Shannon's been watching. When I went
Oh,
to use the
nice.
bathroom, she was in the live.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
she's
nice.
checking it out.
Nice. Thank you guys for joining us in the live, and make sure you go over to Who Are You Pod. Give them all your stuff one more time for the back enders.
Yeah, no problem, y'all. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Shout out Graybeard Podcast. It's always a good time hanging out on here. If you guys are interested in what we got going on, we sit down with entrepreneurs, athletes, nonprofits, artists, all from around Jacksonville, and we sit down and tell their story. If you guys want to get to know more about local Jacksonville, you can give us a follow at Who Are You Pod for everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X now, Facebook, all the normal spots, and at YouTube. And thank you guys again for taking the time to sit down with me today. I had a great time.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to steal a page from your book. If you guys know, of course, follow us too, Graybeard Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, all that shit. But if you know anybody that you would think would be a good fit for this show, or that someone that you want to see on this show that I should talk to, whatever, please send me that information or give them my information and tell them to hit me up. I'd love to, see what you guys come up with, so on and so forth. But as of that's pretty much it for the night. But next week we've got Andy Varnes coming on. He's a great local Jacksonville photographer.
Shout out.
Go check out Andy Varnes on Instagram, and then be sure you tune in because you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk all kinds of nerdy photography shit. I know I'll see Connor in the comments.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, guys.
See ya.
Peace.